Welcome back, one and all, for Dreamworks Dungeons and Dragons. I am your Dungeon Master, August Schmidt, and I'm so excited to have our members of the Peacekeepers with us. We are all here, though some are on and off camera right now, but how are we all feeling tonight, gang?
Good.
Excellent. That's great to hear. So excited to get started tonight. Just realized gotta make sure we have... There we go, everyone. Yes, so the Peacekeepers, last we saw you guys taking some downtime in this campaign. Taking a month to just relax is not the right word, but taking time to train, prepare, get yourselves ready for the oncoming storm, so to speak. Your journey into the Underdark. In no particular order, we saw Gingy create a new race. Again, the idea that Gingy's power truly comes from Gingy's ability to love and care for others, and can transfer that to other cookies. And so these cookie-born, or Candians, or however we're going to call them, have been grown or baked. Valka took some time to learn the mountain combatant feat with this dragon she has found to kind of give a better chance at being like this, her own person, right? Like, hey, like, let's live life now, not in the past. Dax really delved into the theology around Inti and the other gods, going as far as to make some cool connections of, hey, the Underdark might hold a lot more answers than we think in terms of where these gods may have put themselves, as well as, like, from your own past, there's some people you could talk to who know about, like, the idea of other gods, right? Some of the few people in the Underdark that worshipped anyone other than the traditional goddess of the Underdark, that could have some really solid answers. And, of course, Minareth taking time to bond with your father, Gabriel. But, of course, the worst truly did happen, as on a Nat 2, while Gabriel may have truly been ready to accept this power, Michael, who has been stalking him for a while, trying to catch him, found him in the power, and through a brief struggle, both absorbed the power, so neither could have the full force, giving Michael 2/3 of the power and Gabriel 1/3. Truly do love how those roles worked out, as it feels good that, like, I think a 34%, it could have been a 2, gang, okay? You could have been clinging on to the best of hope. Gabriel just got a lot more buffed. It did change how much more easily Gabriel can do things for you guys.
I still feel like if the end of the world happens because freaking Michael has this power, Minareth is gonna be like,
hey, don't worry. There's so many people that could cause the apocalypse.
Yay!
This is where we will wake up. It is the next morning for you all. After this insane night, I think it would have been, we all have to go to bed. Like, this was bad, but, like, if we don't get sleep, we're going to be exhausted. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I think just checking my notes, I'm just trying to make sure I give you guys the right date. Because it's been a time, gang. It's been a time. Here we go. House and suburbs. Well need rest. Yes. Today is going to be the 19th day of the 4th month. So we're just at the end of the second week of the 4th month. All of you have spent, again, some good time resting, and maybe relaxing isn't the right word. But sitting here at the kind of like tail end of Dawnmouth, all of you awaken in the Champion's Mansion. And I guess what I would ask is, early starting with you guys, while Tice takes this call, is there any, I don't want to say preparations, but last things you would do before starting to head to the Underdark?
No. I mean...
Go for it.
No.
No.
Go ahead.
I've got some, like, thoughts and maybe, like, concerns to check up on, but I'm not sure how much you would let me actually, like, do, if that makes sense.
Kind of depends, yeah.
So, like, first, I vaguely remember there was something going on with, like, the episodes that I wanted to follow up on, or see if, like, I could tell in the forest like where they disappeared to, or if they went to like the Underdark somehow in the forest. If there's an entrance there, like I wanted to check up on that. I couldn't remember if you at any point had given me the like don't worry about it, or if like.
Well, here's what you know. Last you heard from Queen Rayhan is that the Absolites had yet to be seen, and that she had started sending out scouts, but the hives themselves were empty, which is what's troubling. You guys could make that detour of, yes, if we're heading to the Underdark, but try to head to the Black Forest first. Again, just start going south of here back to the forested area.
Because I was just curious if like any tracking checks for me could give us an idea of like how they disappeared, where they went.
Well, yeah, so it's... And what I would say for Dax, being from the Underdark, Dax has a lot of ways to get down there. So it's not like you guys are like, oh no, if we leave, we're never going to get a nice way. There's a lot of ways to get. You could, in theory, travel overland to the Underdark where you want to go, or you could head down again using Dax's just, like, innate knowledge, having lived there his whole life, to, like, start moving quickly.
That's good to know.
So that was a thought that I had. My other big thought was just like, obviously we should check in with Rayhan before we go, see if there's like any imminent crisis that she like needs help with. I know there's still a werewolf thing going on. I don't know if there's like some task force we could put on that to do anything more than we've already kind of guessed. Like, I don't know how to make progress on the werewolf issue.
It would be a pretty big side quest. You know, the idea of stopping.
Well, it's like, I don't even know what the next step would be on that.
Yeah, we don't even
no
know
worries.
how to start that side quest, frankly. In which case, I guess that's a great reason to go do something else.
Yeah, what was that, Tice?
I'm sorry, that was just, I needed to take the call. But I think going to check on the Apisoids on our way to the Underdark is probably a good plan of action. Definitely checking with Queen Rayhan, but I also don't think we can do much with the werewolf scene aside from tell the scholars to do more research.
That was my thought.
Hit the books. Yeah. Cool. Well, I guess, yeah, you all, in waking up, again, Queen Rayhan would have been visiting frequently enough over the past couple of weeks. I guess, really, yeah, like, waking up in the morning, everything packed. Again, Dax, you have baby Ben strapped on your chest. Minarith and Gingy have their collections of spell components. Stoke and Valka, you've got your weapon sharpened. All of you can head back to the Chariot's Wheel. Upon entering through the southern entrance, seeing this round palace again, you'll see that Queen Rayhan is actually out this morning. She's not in her normal chambers. You see, she's doing like that walk and talk with other diplomats. And go ahead, I'll actually ask the party to make me a quick group perception check. Maybe to spot some interesting stuff.
You rolled an nat one.
You know I did.
What a way to start.
Amazing
What a
how
way to start.
often you start with a nat one.
I know.
I like it. It's fun.
I even like rolled this die too before the session to like make sure it's rolling well.
16.
16. Dax, what'd you
That is a nat 1 for a total of 7.
I love it. 2 nat 1s are amazing. Minarith, so I think for like the part, it's like, hey, there's Queen Rayhan, and just starts, no pun intended,
like
beelining forward.
I'm like genuinely just so freaked out about everything. I'm like hyper aware of everything else.
You're hyper aware of like, new people.
I got a 10.
Oh, Gingy.
10 for Gingy.
Gingy, on a 10, I think you're gonna notice, Gingy, the diplomats here, there's some new diplomats. Like, you're noticing, like, hey, these aren't just, like, people, like, noble lords and ladies and persons of state from Ilvanor. You're starting to, like, see, like, hey, those look like from other countries.
Okay.
Specifically for Minarith, you'll catch a couple of pieces of importance. You do see some persons. They are wearing like kind of like what's the word? You know how there's business casual? It's army casual. Where they're still wearing very nice clothing, but like they have breastplates on or greaves.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. I don't know. I think on a passive history, you may not notice the emblems on their like chests and coats of arms.
Probably not.
It's enough to know like that's not Ilvanor. This isn't Nordic.
Yeah.
Okay. But You will see, though, there is a rather dignified looking. It's almost like those interesting types of elk's not the right word. Gazelle,
Oh.
where they've got like the long pointed up horns, like 3 feet above their head, but walking on 2 feet. Again, one of the more anthropomorphic races you would assume from maybe China. You see walking there, so it's enough. Like I think on your 16, you're getting that like, hey, this may be a diplomat from China, and so Queen Rayhan might have invited other like diplomats, ambassadors, just people to meet.
That's kind of cool.
As you guys walk forward, you see the Queen will immediately notice you guys approaching. She turns to her like assembled group and gives a kind of like you don't hear this of course, but some sort of goodbye. You see she bows and they all bow back. As she turns, seeing you all approach. Hello, friends. Am I to assume you are heading out for you to greet me in my home?
We are.
You see, she smiles. I wish you the best of luck. Know you always have a place here in my heart and my home. But of course, we should look for the fake Shen and also gain more information about the citizens of Etheria. I've received a few letters back from the princesses. It sounds like their travels are going well. They decided to head north to check out some sunken ships under the water. Apparently, one of the princesses, the one with the hair that moves, the prehensile hair, she had some, they call it technology, to maybe try to investigate sunken vessels that may have crashed in our history thousands of years ago that we may not even remember. But to let you know, I haven't heard from Adora yet. I know she and her 2 closer friends went to Syracuse to try to infiltrate the regions. You see, as you give that same, like, we haven't either, she goes, I assume so. It was a stealth mission. I can only hope the best, though. Here, she is going to kind of clap her hands, and you see a couple servants that are near her, like, run off. She goes, I have packed some things for you for your journey, just to make sure you're well taken care of. If I may ask, what route do you plan to take for the Underdark? Or what would be the percentage of overland to underland?
I think we all kind of look at Dax because, like, he knows where we're going.
Yeah, Dax is kind of waiting for, some of the other more qualified people to answer. And like,
I'm more
yes.
qualified.
Yeah, and Dax is just pleasantly waiting. Oh, I'm the more qualified.
I'm in charge here. Okay. Yes, we're going to go visit the Apisoids first and look for them, and then there are a couple of entrances near there that we might go in, depending on how dangerous it seems at the time. It's the sewers. It's dangerous sometimes.
You see,
always.
She nods.
Always.
From my studies growing up, the sewers, as it can be referred to, has always seemed rather dangerous. Some of the more darker creatures and monsters of the world have always found refuge there.
Dear.
Yeah?
We never dealt with the cube.
What cube?
The cube that Gabriel gave Minareth.
The cube?
I'm not going to take it out of my pocket.
No, it was just the memory of, like, all the stuff we're getting ready to
yes.
do and go, and I was thinking of Darkseid and everything, and I was like, wait, we still have this cube.
You do still have the cube. I was hoping you'd forget about it because nothing sounds funnier than, like, hundreds of sessions later. I think we have a person and, like, pulling out a cube.
Oh, yes.
Oh, no. There's a man that's dehydrated in my back pocket.
I need to let off some
when, like, my
steam
mind
anyway.
wanders while Dax is talking to her hand, and I fully elbow you, and I'm like, wait, didn't you have a thing?
Did you have a person?
No, we just gotta share that look of...
Maybe
I'm just
not
gonna put my hand
now.
in my pocket.
You see, Queen Rayhan nods. Yes, the Apisoids, again, my scouts have, as far as we know, they've disappeared, and because they can fly, it's harder to learn where they've gone. But yes, maybe following up with them. And I was not aware there were entrances to the sewers. I've heard that entrances can be anywhere, but I suppose in our own front yard makes sense.
I mean, you don't notice the grates underneath your feet when you walk down the street.
You see, she kind of nods and goes, "That is fair. We always take the infrastructure of the world for a convenience. We never stop and think when it was created and how long it's been there and how it will probably be there long after us." And she kind of in that very much like, yeah, fair point. You see, the servants have come back. Queen Rayhen has packed each of you a bag. Go ahead and mark down 2 bottles of healing potions.
Oh.
As well as a
For
classical
each of us?
explorer's pack. Yeah, 2 bottles for each of you. Basically a backpack for an explorer's pack with rope, torches, tinder, rations, and 2 healing potions for each. And she goes, it's not much, but again, we found some of these in the castle, and I thought it would be very beneficial for exploration down below. You see, she is looking in that very, like, Queen Rayhen's face looks very calm, but it has the echo of anxiety.
Potion of healing, not greater spirit.
It is, yes, the traditional potion of healing. It is not greater or spirit.
Sounds good.
As Queen Rayhen looks at you all, she goes, "May Odin smile on you, and may Thor guide your path." As she'll give each of you a hug. Dax, she hugs you too. Again, even though you're newer, she gives you a big old hug. Afterwards, she goes, "Please send word if you find anything or if we can be of help." And you see she turns, giving her goodbyes, and goes with her servants probably to find the diplomats, wherever they just went to, as she's continuing to run a country in a time of war.
And pregnant.
I am going to stop her as she's leaving.
Yeah, you
Say,
kind of...
Queen Rayhen, sorry, one second.
Yes?
Kind of reaching into one of my pockets, I'm going to pull out a little stone with a carved spider on it, and I'm going to give it to her. And this is a gift that I thought to give you. If you need anything, let us know. This is a sending stone.
Incredible. Incredible.
One of my artificer
Infused.
tinkering things. So
amazing.
You love to see
You
it.
see, she takes this and she looks truly touched. As it's not like, yeah, I know they send sendings and that's as she now has a way to contact you guys and you back. You see Rayhen truly looks touched. You see she will unpin one of her cloak clasps, which is that beautiful silver raven, again the symbol of her house. She is going to hand you, Dax, then this silver raven, and may you take this. If any come across you, let them know that you are under my protection.
Oh.
I'm just gonna pin it just like right there on his front of his shirt.
She pins her in the
In front
same
of his,
way.
homemade cape.
Homemade cape, everything. Yeah, it's that like.
Adorable.
I will say, yeah, the silver raven does pop. Like normally, it's not like Dax is wearing a lot of homemade stuff, and suddenly something very regal. It does work really well. I think that just like beautiful
love
silver
that.
crest just kind of on your cape. You all say fond farewells, sending these last items, and all of you with Cloud Jumper now in tow
Yes.
So
can
cool.
head off to the Black Forest. As you all travel, you will notice Cloud Jumper is sporadically jumping into the clouds. I mean, if it's too on the nose, let me know. But
No,
you see, it's
perfect.
very much like as you are traveling, it's not like you think your dragon like doesn't like traveling over land, but it's again, this is a flying creature that loves flying. So it's like, oh, I'll travel, like I get it, but every so often he will jump up, fly around, never more than like 400 feet away from you, but doing all those like loops in the sky, practicing flying. As you see, you'll actually catch Stoic kind of staring, just like, right, that's a really cool dragon. As he just like kind of starting to get it. Like maybe not yet. He still has a lot to work through, but you see Stoic, there's a look in his eye of like, damn, that's cool. Like, all right.
I think Logan just kind of jokes to herself that, realizing, like, yeah, they'll get us all eventually.
Yeah, Hiccup's not going to stop.
I see where this is going.
Until every playable character has a dragon.
I mean,
I meant more the family, but yeah.
That is
Listen,
really
Logan has
smart.
told me his plans. He is spreading
Is
the
he
gospel.
trying?
The gospel. Hiccup is spreading the gospel of the dragon to the world. The idea of, hey guys, stop killing these gentle creatures. Though they're not gentle.
Gentle might be a stretch.
Yeah.
I think even Malcolm's like, I wouldn't describe
To
them
be
as
fair, this is
gentle
Hiccup,
enough.
and I
Yeah.
know this is a tangent. You gotta know that we have become the monkey on a pedestal at work, where Logan and I, because he has a truly phenomenal Hiccup voice,
Oh, yeah.
and then I can do my stoic back, and so we have just been reciting parts from the movie together, where I came to, you just gestured to all of me. Right, that's what I'm saying. Stop being all of you.
Nothing was funnier than, like, when sorry, it's keeping the
You're
tangent,
good, yeah.
but when I got to guest star with them that last time, Logan said something, and it was that, like, full improv he was, like, coming up with it,
Oh,
and so
jeez.
he had that same sort of, like, stuttering
Well,
cadence, and he wasn't even trying, it was just the, like,
It was just
how
so
it came out
perfect
while
for
he was
him.
thinking about it, and everyone was like, that sounds straight
It's
out
a
of a movie,
little
dude.
freaky. It's a
Like,
little freaky.
just like Hiccup.
Cool. Well,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
You guys spent a couple hours, of course, as you know, traveling along the main road down to the Black Forest. But after some time, it's not too late in the day, maybe around noon or 1, you'll reach the heavier forest edge. Having passed by a lot of the outlying towns and villages and other, like, lumber yards, stretching out into the Black Forest, I think all of you are taken aback by, it's been so long since you've been here. Again,
Yeah.
the first of our campaign, almost a year ago. And so it's very much that, like, yeah, this forest was always very shaded and dark. It's a pretty scary place, actually. I mean, the Black Forest inspired a lot of myth and legend in these regions. This is where the Nordic gods are said to hunt, and it's where foul creatures are said to be born, and kind of, again, pick your poison for what stories are told about here. As you're here, we will start then with Valka. If you want to make a tracking check to maybe start, now that you're at the forest, see what you can find about the apisoids.
Yeah, would that be survival?
I think we're actually going to start it with nature.
Oh.
The idea of, like, let's start getting the lay of the land, because without being a ranger, druid, or more of the, like, traditional woodland classes,
Yeah.
I think we start with nature to, like,
My
get
nature
the
is
lay.
not nearly as good, and I don't think my advantage applies here because I get Fey
Yeah.
Fiends, Undead, and Dragons.
And again, this is just starting in the forest.
That's a 9.
It's a 9. So, Valk, you walk in, and immediately it's the... yeah, they're gone. And it's just that gut feeling of, like, the forest has a different tone already. There's not
There's
much you
always
can...
this underlying buzz.
Always an underlying buzz, and now it's not here. As you all enter through, before you will get to where the... again, I think Queen Rayhan would have given you, from her scouts, an approximate direction to the hive. Because, again, that will be, like, a great place to start. What I would ask for is, can anyone give me a quick random D20 roll?
I'm not nominated. I'll go ahead and do it.
Go ahead.
Now the pressure's on me. I don't like that.
The pressure is on.
Well, it's almost an at 20, but it's an 8.
It's an 8. All right. Let's see what we get with an 8. Let's see what we got.
An 8 isn't anything lower than an 8, so there you go. There's the
An 8
positive way to
is
see
nothing
it.
lower than an 8. You're correct. What Wonka Seussian logic is that? An 8 is great, and nothing less than an 8.
It's Dr. Seuss.
Nothing can be bait or placed with an 8.
Thank you.
sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys travel through the forest. Again, it is now truly springtime. What's really fun is it is now the 19th day of Dawnmouth, again, the 4th month of the year. It's kind of like in our real life. It's getting much warmer during the day. Much of the snow has melted, though there are still areas here in the Black Forest that you see the compacted ice and snow, very dirty and brushed up from just the different creatures that have been traveling through here. After about an hour, you know you're close to the apisoids, but you will see, or rather, I should say, most of you will hear a bit of a song on the wind.
I don't like that.
Anyone who wants can give me just a perception check.
That's a nat 13.
That's
Plus
not
good
bad.
for 15.
16.
So 16, a nat 13.
Okay, that's a 14.
14, okay.
Changing another perception.
Pretty good. Yeah, now that
Wait,
you're...
sorry, waiting.
Yeah.
Waiting on Gingy's roll.
Sweet.
Eventually, you will stop making me roll wisdom-based checks. At some point.
He's like, oh, don't you know I planned this whole campaign to avoid wisdom, to only do wisdom.
13 from Gingy.
13. All of you will hear, it's a woman's voice, but it doesn't sound, like, threatening or magical. On a nat 13, I'll actually give for Minareth, yeah, that nat 13. Do you want to try to listen to the lyrics, or do you want to listen to the direction?
Minareth is definitely more of a lyrics kind of person.
Definitely more of a lyrics. The Lord of Castamere, but now the rain sweep over his hall, with no one there to hear. Yes, now the rain weeps o'er his hall, with not a soul to hear. A song about a lord who has lost everything, nothing is left, everything is gone, not a soul to hear. All of you can follow the sound. Again, it's kind of in the direction you need to go. Anyway, you see a small halfling woman who's kind of sitting in a tree, just playing on a simple mandolin. As you approach, you see she doesn't stop her singing, but gives that kind of eyebrow double raise of like, kind of that greeting where it's like, hey, I'm in the middle of a song.
Is there an audience of any sort?
With even a 16, some of your perception checks, you're not seeing an audience. Looks pretty empty. Just this halfling, maybe bard, sitting in a tree. And finishes up her song. As you are all watching, eventually she finishes the song, kind of looks, right, well, I hope you liked it. If you liked it enough, and you see,
a cookie.
what was that, Gingy?
Give her a cookie for the song.
You give a cookie, she goes, right, thank you. She uses mage hand, and you see this kind of like spectral hand made out of like grass and tree, swoop down, pick it up, bring it to her. She's like, oh, it's very good. Oh, ginger. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, it's very good. If you like to leave offering, she kind of uses the mage hand to point to this small little knot in the tree. Just, if you like it, you can sing. Or if you like it, you can give anything in return.
You can sing? Like,
Aye.
is that what she said?
Yeah, you can sing. A song for a song. It's no trouble, really. I just do it because I like it.
I am going to put a gold piece in the little knot in the tree.
Put a gold piece in.
And I'm going to say, you have a lovely voice. How came you to be in the forest these days?
Hi, well, came to be in the forest because everywhere else is terrible.
Yeah, no,
that's
what?
And she goes, it's not great, but honestly, I mean, you live places long enough, and the only safe place is the wilds, which is an oxymoron in itself. Safe wilds? But it's no big trouble. It's nice. Are you coming from Ilvanor?
Aye, is that where you came from too?
Oh, well, upon a time, I've been around. I've been down to the Syracuse. I've been up to Ilvanor. I've even been as far east as, say, the Great Himalayas, some of those villages. It's all the same once you know where to go. And you see, she's starting to pluck out a tune and is looking. You will notice she has not commented on the giant dragon behind Valka either. Mm-hmm. She's taken a lot of this in stride of like, what an odd group of adventurers, but that's life. They gave me gold and a cookie. Who am I to complain?
Yeah. We were detouring through the forest. We heard the Aposoids moved out. Were you here before they left? Do you know what happened to them?
Oh yes, the Aposoids. Most people call them the bee folk. But I came back here a few years ago. I can't say, well, it makes sense. No buzzing. She kind of realizes, goes,
really notice.
no, I didn't think about it too much, but now that you mention it, it's pretty quiet these days. Yeah. I mean, they weren't too harmful.
Mm-hmm.
Help pollinate the trees. help give honey, I hear. Not too bad, just not very friendly. Hey, are you looking for him?
Well, when a whole group of people disappears with no warning or explanation, you always want to make sure they're okay.
Aye, yes. Whole groups can be very tricky. Well, I mean, if you're looking for a whole group, it means they must have left something behind. You see, having given her coin a song, she'll kind of just like, right here, she's going to throw down a D6 Bardic to Valka and Gingy.
Oh, that's sweet.
Bit of a thank you for the cookie and gold. So she goes, well, I'll be off. I might start heading back west towards the Alps. I hear there are some lovely little mountain ranges up there. Really gives you some good acoustics. And you see she casts some sort of spell and disappears in a little flurry of nature magic. You guys can continue on your way.
Interesting.
So yeah, Gingy, Valka, I will say this Bardic isn't going to be like normal Bardic Store. It's like, use it quick. It's like, you have a Bardic for the day, right? Mm-hmm. Something just fun of as a thank you. Cool. Before too long, you guys will come upon a great mound of earth. And for those who have ever encountered wasps, you will know it is very wasp-like. The stone around it is not true stone. It is that like strange synthetic mixture that has been like excreted and shaped into this like giant mound full of hive tunnels and hexagonal holes. And so as you approach, it's like easy enough to spot of like, yeah, it's a little bit above the tree line. Definitely something that could have been easier to find if you were flying, but like not like perfect. And as you all approach, you will notice, no buzzing. Passively, you do see tracks of people and creatures that may have come in and out, but nothing much right now.
Interesting. Well, I guess it's time to do some digging, so to speak, and see if we can figure out at least where the episodes, what direction they were headed to. Because that might give us an idea for why they were headed.
Yeah. Here we go. Valka, if you want to give the survival check, or if anyone else wants to.
I'll give it a shot.
It's like, we can let Valka do it because of the advantage, that normal, like, Blood Hunter vibe. Or
am
if
I getting it? I wasn't sure if I would get that.
You are getting, Stoic is helping, giving you the help action. Because he also has proficiency in survival.
Well, the first roll was better anyway. That's going to be a 21, I think, because it is survival, right?
Yeah.
Yes, 21.
So I got a nat 1 for a total of 7 because I do have good survival.
That's the same as my survival, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Minarth, you're walking into the hive, looking around of like, okay, if I was a group of people, where would I... and your foot goes through a crunchy then soft surface.
I don't like that.
It's an egg. This is an egg.
Do you want to look down? If you
Yes.
look down, your foot is coated in a greenish slime.
I have killed an egg.
One of the eggs that they left behind is now gone.
I killed a bee person.
You see Stoic passing by, say, right, don't think anything of it. Everyone kills eggs their first time. He just keeps walking in.
I'm gonna put a hint of it. I know it's terrible, but also if they were abandoning their eggs, A, that's bad, and B, I don't know much about their maturity process, but I'm not sure they would have lived through abandonment anyway once they hatched. Right. Or if they would have hatched.
If they would have hatched, without help.
I don't know enough.
Right, it was already.
And again, it's that odd, because this egg, eventually would have been a larva, and eventually would have grown to pupa. There would have been a lot of steps. It's an odd conundrum. But you see, indeed, all of you will start noticing this place was left almost in a hurry.
That makes sense if they left their eggs.
Because this is one of the few eggs. There are other eggs that are either already broken. You see other creatures have already come in and dined, for lack of a better word. I mean, there's not a lot of honey, but the natural byproduct of bees, wasps, apisoids, or at least bee folk, would have been very tempting. All of you can see there are bear tracks in here heavily, right? This would have been prime, where even the leftover honey, bears may have been coming in and just licking. Eggs have been left, food. And you're seeing, again, this is a strange colony. Everything is very perfect. And you can attribute that to the hive mind, right? One could say, like, yes, out of the episodes, they all work in tandem, right? They all know exactly what each other's doing. But Valka, as you make this check, you'll start to learn kind of what the scouts did is most tracks, though now very old, I will let you know the DC was pretty high. Because it's been a while, you're noticing that the trail does lead of a lot of apsoids gathered their stuff, walked out into, like, outside the small little clearing where this kind of rocky cavern is, and then flew away. You see the definitive, like, up, right? You did get a 21, though. I will let you know that from this track, you don't think they were flying long range. And I'll flavor, as you've now been trained with Cloud Jumper, truly learning how dragons act, when Cloud Jumper is just leaping, there's a different impression than when he is long range flying.
That makes sense.
When a creature goes to long range fly or stay up in the air, it's actually a bit of a lighter imprint because they are raising themselves and just going for upward raise versus a leap or a creature that is just going for, like, maybe a short distance or a jump. There's a bit more of an impression near the, like, toe or start of their foot because there is that natural push, right? Something of, instead of going completely up, they're going forward. And so what you'll notice is a lot of these prints, again, there's hundreds of them, right? You know the episodes are many in number. These creatures went forward, and you do know the direction, which is, for now, further into the Black Forest. Something that the scouts may have missed because, again, they may have been a little freaked out by the amount of bear tracks and eggs and went, yep, they flew away. Like, not that that's not true, but a trained eye, someone who hunts for a living, would go, we can tell where they could have initially gone.
Well, do we mind a side trip a little further into the forest so I can see if I find where they landed and where they might have gone from there?
I'm ready to follow Dax's preference on that.
Might as well. Dax is going to pull Bart off of his cloak and just kind of, talking to him now because he is more sentient. Bart, do you think you could look around here and just see if you find anything that would scare off an entire colony of wasps?
This is really clever. You see Bart goes, yes, I look around. I see what's inside. Yes, but, question, what if they eat me?
Improvise.
You tell this tiny little blue tarantula spider, improvise. Bart blinks, all 8 of his eyes go, blink, blink. Yes, improvise. Bart's going to travel off. Do you want to look through his eyes while he goes through? Like, do you want to kind of put your consciousness there? Or do you want to just send him off and see what he comes back with?
Maybe not immediately, but if we're going to keep following the episodes, I think I'm going to periodically just kind of peer through and glance and check on him.
Yes.
Because although he is a magical familiar, there is still some sentimental attachment to him.
It's true. Yeah, it's not like, I don't love... Again, when Bart just got, like, iced by the thugs, like, last month, it didn't feel great to be like, I was looking through his eyes and felt the fear spike through Bart's tiny little body when so many arrows and blades came at him. It's not a great feeling. So yeah, Dex, you send Bart off, just gonna periodically check in. For Valka, actually a question I had, in speaking of flying creatures, you could take to Cloud Jumper, and while it does mean no one else in the party could follow, you might be able to go quicker and get a better, like, DC to track them if you start flying as well. The idea of, like,
yeah, because that looks like about the same trajectory. And
let's try to follow. It just means no one else in the party could, like, follow fast.
I'm fine with that if you guys are, though.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what we'll do first is we'll actually then start with what Bart is seeing, right? The idea of if you guys are outside, you're sending Bart deeper in. Ever so often, Dax, you peer through his eyes, and you see Bart going, and Bart is giving this, like, fun little monologue, very much like when you're, like, on the phone and doing a chore, and you're kind of, like, talking ambiently to someone listening in. So you see,
So cute.
yes, perfect, looking, tunnel, 2 tunnels, 3 tunnels, 3 tunnels,
So
1, 2, 3, I take 2. And he starts clambering up the second one. Yes, big climb, strong spider. Bart is strong. Bart knows how to get up. And so eventually, though, you see Bart is looking around, and you're seeing everything from rooms that's like, okay, this was definitely the hatchery. This was definitely, like, food and storage. At one point, Bart definitely finds the honey room, and you see he's like, I'll go in. Bart sees 5 bears. 5 bears, 1 Bart. Not the good answer. Not the good answer. And so, Bart, like, I'm not trying that encounter today. Bart turns around. So you're like, yeah, there's definitely bears in here. Eventually, though, you see Bart finds an interesting looking room, because whereas every single room has, again, very hexagonal patterns, everything's very geometric, Bart has found a door that looks very human made. Made out of wood and metals, something that has been, like, ingrained in with the rest of the hive, right? A lot of that excrement, like, bee stuff to, like, solidify around it. But this is a straight up, like, door, maybe 10 feet high, 8 feet wide, like, very grand. And you see Bart just like, yes, there is door. Should I go in door? Maybe I go in door?
I'm going to kind of interject and just say, Bart, could you look
Yes.
in that door? I think that's an important place.
Bart goes, yes, I go in door. Yes, this is good. Yikes. I did roll a nat 2 for him to get it. So Bart takes a good long while, and you see it's just like, no, this is too small for small Bart. I am small, but not this small. Not good match. No, this is still not good. Very well made door. Good door. Bees make good doors. I did not know. And
I love the
Bart's just having a lot of
personality in
intro. Bart's slowly becoming much more sentient. He's becoming this, like, very true familiar, until finally Bart goes, keyhole. There's always holes for keys, and there is always room for Barts. And so Bart squeezes through this tiny little keyhole and enters this room. You see a lavish-looking room. It has long, grand carpets with stitching that has been intertwined in thousands of thread counts. There are chests and fineries, all open, very much emptied out, as if someone cleaned out this room. But what is interesting enough is in the center of this room is a depression in the floor, maybe about 4 feet in diameter, and around it are different incense holders and altars. And it looks like there is a ritual that had been abandoned is probably the best word. Like, you're noticing the incense is all but burned away.
Mm-hmm.
But there are still small bags of ingredients that Bart sniffs and just goes, yes. This, juniper bark. Yes. Good. No, small bones, big bones, small bones, small rodent. Yes. Good. Yes. Honey. And so he's like listing off all these different spell components.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually Bart goes to the innermost of the depression, and Bart's going to make an insight check. Okay. Dax, you're watching, and you see Bart suddenly stumble back as if afraid. I see Bart goes, no, this is not good. This is very not good. 1 Bart, many, no good, no, very bad for Barts. Very bad. And you see Bart will do that, like, to give the flavor, Bart de-summons himself to reappear more faster next to you, Dax. The idea of, like, he disappears and then is in that re-summoning, immediately is, like, burrowing into your cape. He's like, no good. I stay here. I stay. Bees leave. Be smart. Bart is smart. Bart stays.
Bart, what did you see? I wasn't looking when you went in.
Oh, Bart sees it is bad. Bees, they learn. They true. But Bart knows. Old magic. Druidic. Druid. Yes, yes. Bart sees druid magic. Bart smells. Bart smells bad. You see all these 8 eyes just
Thank
blink
you.
at you. These kind of like pupilless black eyes just blink, 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 blink. He smells bad.
Thank you very much, Bart. I
Yes.
appreciate your bravery.
Oh, Bart is very brave, but Bart is also very smart. Bart stays. And he does that like again. He starts like spinning out a little bit of web. Not like full cocooning himself, but making this weird shelter in your coat of like, Bart stays. Yes, good.
I'm totally gonna let him.
You
I think I will read off some of those components to Minareth
yeah.
and recite them. Like, hey, Minareth, Bart seems to have found some kind of ritual that was going on in there. Do you happen to know anything that might require juniper and rat bones and honey, among other things?
Yeah, most of the other stuff were like very basic spell component of like, this was ash from a fireplace. Those were like 3 of the like that Bart made interest of that of like,
Wait,
hey,
ash from a
well, like,
fireplace?
ash from or a fireplace or from fire, right?
From
Like
fire,
ash
yeah.
from any fire source.
Is it possible? Because I'm sorry, the thing that immediately makes me wonder: were there any symbols anywhere? Like intelligent creatures drew some sort of symbols. Because it also makes me think of back when we were trying to fight the vampires, and there was this summoning thing going on, and because they have a different kind of magic that we don't really use today, just because they're so much older than we are.
Yeah, like magic. What we know as like these like 9 major schools of magic are very different from.
But there's basically like a archaic pagan type of magic that we don't have access to, and something about the rat bones and the juniper, like that is not. Those aren't typical spellcasting components.
What I would ask is, Gingy and Minrith, being both full casters, both of you having a better understanding, both of you can make me Arcana checks. To like go through your little like personal inventories and brains of like, yeah, this is
Could
older.
it be insight actually?
It's not so much insight yet. It is Arcana because it's again like because insight can lead you a lot of ways.
What is your Arcana, Gingy?
Mine's a +5.
I'm going to give her the help action instead.
Gotcha. Sweet. So yeah, Gingy, you can definitely go ahead and make this with advantage.
And I have guidance. Oh no, I can only do one.
Because
I'll do the help action.
All right. Okay.
15.
15. Gingy, in thinking through, a lot of what Minrith is saying is like right. You think of like, yeah, older magic styles come in and out of fashion. Right, there is a lot of like what we call the 9 major schools are just because they are, I don't want to say easiest, but they're very applicable. Like a lot of people can pick up illusion or divination because it's that like, hey, this is really one school, and it's easier to like understand once you get the basic concepts of how to conjure something, how to abjure something. And so Gingy, on a 15, you're thinking back with like the Muffin Man and realizing like, yeah, a lot of the baking you guys did, a lot of the baking you've just done in the past month is archaic in nature as well. It is no one type of magic because you are both necromantically charging the baking, but you are also conjuring certain ingredients to cook with, and just as much as you are evoking different elements to breathe life in, and just as much as you are abjuring the cookies so that they hold like, and so it's that odd like, yeah, baking, it's odd to say that baking falls under a ancient druidic style of magic, but you're realizing it's very similar of like, yeah. So there's no one type. It's harder to just nail down like the subclass or subtype. But on 15 Gingy, I think what you're going to get is the spell components and what they were doing holds a lot of water or like practice in what we as like maybe the rest of the world would call more divination magic. Right? Things to look and view. And I think what you're
Isn't that
realizing...
the magic that they were using when they were getting that message or whatever?
Yeah, no, like,
Okay,
messaging
cool. Okay.
does have some forms of divination. It kind of depends, actually.
Fair.
But yeah, it's like, because you realize they were reaching out with messages. Because I think Gingy, it's the idea of the juniper bark and the bones of rat, that's more just straight up like to invoke pure spirits of nature. It's the honey that stands out to say, that's more of an offering. That's not a spell component. That's like a consumable item because it's an offering. That's something, like you would know, that's dear to them. And so Gingy, on a 15, it's that, again, it's hard to just name the spell, but you have a good feeling it was divinatory in practice.
I'll just pass that on to...
Yeah. All of you get this. Bart has, truly made his cocoon. So yeah, Dax, what are you feeling right now?
So it seems that whatever they were doing then to reach out and talk to something else, whatever it was seems to be the cause of them leaving.
Yes.
So I would think that some of their magic probably went askew and they fled.
Yeah. Because indeed, Bart didn't... Obviously, Bart was not casting a spell, but it's the idea of Bart maybe as more insectoid. Yes, like, their spiders are not technically insect, but it's like coming from the closer, like, genus and family, like, closer in species type. You're getting that, like, even though Bart is not a caster, Bart was not doing this ritual, whatever is left over is that more druidic, archaic magic that, like, bugs can understand, and even Bart felt something. Although it is hard to tell. Yeah, Bart is gaining sentience, but it's that, for storytelling purposes, Bart did not roll high enough to give the meta reason, but it's very much Bart. Even Bart knows, yeah, the Aposoids were fleeing, and Bart agrees with their reasoning. Bart only doesn't flee because he loves you, Dax. Like, you know, he says, like, Bart stays. Like, Aposoids flee, Bart stays. Because Bart isn't going to, like, abandon you. But there is that to be said.
So, he did say there are many, and there's only one Bart. Many what? There are many what?
Many what indeed. As we cut to Valka.
Ooh.
As Cloudjumper is bounding off through the trees. Go ahead, give me a tracking. This is survival. I will give you advantage, being up in the clouds trying to follow this. Still a harder DC.
How's the 24?
24 beats the DC 17.
Excellent.
Nice job.
Valka,
I rolled very luckily.
you follow, and indeed, you're realizing as you go, Aposoids can fly, but if they're going in full force, they couldn't sustain flight. If they are traveling with their old and they're young and supplies, it's one rider, one person could have flown forever in good health. Well, or indefinitely. Versus you're realizing, like, yes, every maybe good 3/4 of a mile there is landfall. Or enough of that, like, you are able to keep following it. Eventually, after maybe 20 or so minutes, the same time again, when Gingy and Minrith are making these checks, when Bart's looking, like, in that same time period, you land near a bit of a hidden cave. Again, one of those things where when you're not below the tree line, you never would have seen it. But while following these jumps, Cloudjumper is doing this effortlessly, I should also say that. Like, Cloudjumper, he's pretty adept at flying. And so when Cloudjumper lands, it's kind of that sudden, like, whoa, rock outcropping. Kind of like with the episodes of, oh yeah, now that we're down below, it's so obvious that it's here, but it's very much well hidden, like a blanket in the forest. The rock outcropping seems normal enough. Bit of a low valley, like a imprint of an old river that ran through here, many meters deep now, where one side has been crushed upwards. But you will see that there is a opening, as if to a cave. Looks big enough, and the tracks here seem that the Aposoids went into the cave. Would you like to follow?
Sure.
You can write Cloud Jumper. You start heading into the cave. And following it on 24, you're following pretty well. I need you, after you've been traveling for a good 30 minutes, to make me a D8 and a D12. This is going to be a roll.
That's a 1 on the D8. And a 12 on the D12.
Wow!
No! I was kind of hoping actually it would be that, like,
For
weird
a
dichotomies. Yeah.
For a total of 13.
Oh, you love to see it! Total of 13.
I am so excited for this.
Okay. I will try to be excited as well.
You'll try to be excited. Thank you so much. Go ahead. I need you, Valka. What's your passive perception?
Oh, I don't think I have good. It's wisdom again.
It is wisdom. Yes.
My passive perception is a 12.
That's not
Okay.
terrible, actually.
It's not good. No. But it could be worse.
Okay. Go ahead. Just gonna roll so they don't. Cool. And. Okay. After some time, you and Cloud Jumper are moving through, and eventually you will start to notice this cave where normally the wet and rot of caves, these places that creatures lurk and hide, the smell has changed. While not fresh, you are sensing much deeper air connections. It's a much fresher, it's not as stale anymore. And for a moment, you even smell on the wind a form of nature. Something of this smells fresh in the idea that vegetation that grows fungal, algae can smell fresh in the proper environment. As you smell this, it's not great.
As he grins.
I need to yeah, this is going to be a surprise.
Oh no.
I need you to make me a wisdom saving throw at disadvantage being surprised.
Is it a magical effect?
It is a magical effect.
So is it flat because I should have advantage from Dragon Fang?
Yes, Dragon Fang will make this flat. Thank you so much.
Excellent. But it's still a wisdom save.
Still wisdom
I get
save.
+2 to this.
Yeah.
I rolled a natural 19 for a 21.
I think what helps tip you off is after a moment you're going through, because again your mind is this cave is quickly becoming no longer dark and almost again there seems to be light and a freshness in what's going on. Cloud Jumper snarls as suddenly you hear Immobilius and feel a spell whiz past your shoulder as Cloud Jumper does a full-on barrel roll, whips out of the air. Roll initiative.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I'll let the rest of the party know. Unfortunately, you guys can't roll initiative until Valka resolves whatever's going on here.
Oh no! It's okay. It's Valka with Cloud Jumper. It'll be fine.
It's Valka and Cloud Jumper.
Valka's not dexterous, so initiative is 6.
Valka, go ahead and roll for Cloud Jumper. Cloud Jumper has a
right.
+2 right now for his
boy.
initiative.
He also rolled a 6 on the die, so that's an 8 for him.
Okay, here's what's really
You
fun.
guys are
I just
wonderful.
double-checked this. We have to do the most insane roll-off as whatever just casts a spell also roll a 6.
What?
I'm not even joking.
All right.
6 is all around the board. Here we go. I'll let you know the roll-off.
4.
It's a nat 1.
Oh my gosh!
It's a
This
nat-
is painful.
I haven't moved it. That's a
love
nat
that.
1.
That's beautiful.
So Cloud Jumper goes first
Cloud
with an 8,
Jumper,
and then it's me, and then it's this guy.
There is something else happening before Cloud
Right.
Jumper. I will let you know. You immediately realize, shit, I've been tracked.
Mm-hmm.
You got too invested in the cave. As coming out from around the rocks are 9 drow. These drow are laden as would bounty hunters be. They have different swords, spears. 2 of them are holding a big net. And you realize that while your draconic fear may have gone off, it's been long enough for all of them to make the saves against it.
Oh,
They were following you for a bit because they did get a higher than your passive.
Mm-hmm.
And I should also say, and also cloud jumpers.
Mm-hmm.
The drow will go first. There are 8 drow that will act now, as one of them you see is an older drow, has like that shocking whitish kind of beard. And I should say, it's not true beard. Drow are elves in that sense that they can't really grow a beard. It's almost as if like when one's hair gets long enough to form this weird like mutton chop. It's a groomed long hair side part mutton chop.
That is hilarious.
I think it's hilarious. So yes, you see the drow mage is acting last, and that is what tried to cast Hold Person.
Mm-hmm.
The other drow are going to immediately rush. One of them casts Fairy Fire. I need you to make a dex save. Cloud Jumper succeeds on a natural 18.
It's a nat 1 for a 7.
Nat 1 for 7.
Wait, unless it's in 10 feet of me, do I have advantage?
Yes.
He might be farther away.
No, they are all within 10 feet. Again, this
so I
cave
get
is
advantage.
only 30 feet across. There's not a lot of room in here.
Alright, advantage is 11.
11 is the
Probably
exact DC.
doesn't- Alright!
Cool. Second drow's trying this because they're trying to get a fair fire off. Go ahead and roll me another one.
Another one? Okay.
Cloud Jumper succeeds barely on a synthetic 12.
That's already like a 16. Yeah.
Okay, third one's gonna do this. I'll let you know. They're not all gonna try this, but there will be maybe one more after this. It's the idea of they're trying to set something up. Cloud Jumper succeeds on a
22.
14 on the die. Here comes the last one.
Natural 19.
As each drow is throwing out their hands and wispy, shadowy purple light, vroom, vroom, vroom. You and Cloud Jumper are rolling, diving. Cloud Jumper jumps onto the ceiling. Bat-like crawls around to just keep avoiding the fairy fire. So yeah, 4 of them cast fairy fire, and it just doesn't work.
Right.
That is so
And there are
boss.
5 left?
There are 4
Not
left,
including the mage?
not including the mage. 4 left, not including the mage.
5 left including the mage.
Yes.
Okay.
The other 4, 2 of them are going to cast Boom Darkness.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see magical
I
darkness.
was gonna say, I think that screws up my dark vision because it's
It
magical,
does.
right?
It is magical darkness. As they cast a magical darkness, the other 2 are going to roll, and of course they can see in this magical darkness for a ability that they have.
Devil's Sight, the little shits.
Might be Devil Sight, or might be something similar. As they're not going to get close enough to attack because of Cloud Jumper, they're going to shoot you with crossbows. Does a 16 hit?
Does not.
Does a 19 hit?
Yes.
Alright, I need you to make me a quick con save, DC 13, as this...
Is this flat? It's not a magic thing?
It is a poison
Yeah.
based thing. This is a crossbolt tipped in a poison.
Natural 13. Constitution makes it an 18.
Already succeeds. So, you only take 3 points of piercing damage.
Nice.
As crossbolt hits you and your body is just like,
You barely
nah.
flinch.
Barely flinch as poison cannot hit you. I will let you know that you feel that if you were to fail the save throw badly, you might get knocked unconscious.
All
This
right.
is something where it might have a poison effect, but the truly ill effect is that it's meant to down you. Cool, that was the Drow's turn. You and Cloud Jumper act together right before the mage does. What do you want to do?
I think my goal for this turn, because I'm surrounded by a ton of these guys, right?
Mhm.
So I think what I would like to do is I want to try and like use all my action economy to try and knock down this mage if I can, and then see if I can use Cloud Jumper's movement to start flying away and like getting back to the party.
Gotcha. And Mountain Combatant, meaning you now have
So I'm gonna have advantage to hit him.
but disadvantage because it's darkness, so you'll roll flat. Again, the idea being, yeah, you know it's like, okay,
Yeah, 'cause
lights
I
are out,
could-
I know where he was.
I could cast light to like do the magic
Yeah.
thing, but that would take my action.
Would take your action.
So it's not worth it.
Might not be worth it.
I am just debating whether my bonus action it would be more useful to do my Celestial Revelation or Crimson Right, so I'm just gonna double check my stats really fast for all that.
No worries. I just have to double check something. They all used... 4 of them used their Fairy Fire, 2 used Darkness. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do a Crimson Right. Let me double check my options on that. I will... Yeah, I'll do Rite of the Storm for that lightning damage. I will roll to damage myself really quickly.
Thunder crackles and echoes harshly
I take 5
in this
more points
cave.
of damage.
You hear all the drow are shouting instructions to one another.
So between Mountain Combatment and the whole darkness thing, it'll be flat rolls to hit him?
Flat rolls, yeah.
Okay. I am going to roll my first attack, and I'll use the stamina point if it hits. I mean, I guess I have to use it
You
either
do
way,
have to
so.
call it before it hits, yes. So, called stamina.
Natural 13. I
Woo!
get... Yeah, it's a 23 then to hit.
23. Dude can't even shield to save himself. That hits.
Excellent. I'm not doing any extra radiant damage or anything, right? This is just normal? 'Cause
No.
it's just a drow.
Drow are not undead,
Good.
they're not fiendish. You would know this from Dax, dude. It's not like, yeah, they're just another race of people.
Roll that one. Alright. That... Oh wait, why am I rolling? I did...
You did stamina,
point.
yeah.
So I'm getting 3d6 for 18 plus 6...
24.
24?
Yeah.
24 points of damage on that first attack.
24. You hear, Ifront 6, Ifront! Don't know what that means, but sounds bad.
Second attack.
Second attack.
Stamina point again.
Okay, stamina again.
I really want to get this mage down so he can't throw spells at me as we're trying to fly
Yeah,
away.
no, it's, yeah, you take out their range.
That's not good. That's only a 12 to hit. I do have that Bardic from...
You do have D6 Bardic.
I will use that now.
Go for it.
Better safe than sorry. That's a 6, so 18.
I will let you know. Here's what's crazy. This
So the 12 will
mage,
hit.
this mage has an armor class of 12. Even with his shield, only gives him a 17.
Right, because he could have
Yes.
shielded.
All right.
Good job.
So you feel as arcane, imprecure, as
So another 24 points of damage.
insane shield about to get up. Cloud Jumper pins him to the ground as with a single swipe of the sword, you decapitate this mage.
Excellent.
And is dead.
And then I would like Cloud Jumper to start flying away.
Cloud Jumper uses action disengage and that it's full bat too. This is bounding like Batsu where they just kind of leap with their arms and thrust themselves out to fly as boom, we exit initiative as you rush out of the cave, leaving shouting. Again, they saw what happened. And you are out of there. All of you wait. An hour goes by. And eventually Valka comes back. You're breathing hard, but you see Valka's not injured. Yeah, Valka, you return to the party. What do you?
That is awesome.
Right, so I was tracking the Absoloids, something else was tracking me, a bunch of drow ambushed me in a cave. I had their trail, so we might have learned something, but I'm also not sure why they were in the forest or why they were following me.
Dax, give me a history with advantage.
I mean, Dax's immediate thought is the Black Sun, but history with advantage. Here we go. Oh, nope, sorry, not you. Oh, okay, that is a synth 20.
Dax, Valka's describing the area. That's one of the entrances to the sewers. This area far enough away, it's actually may have been one of the places you were gonna go. And so Dax that great check. They may not even have been Black Sun. Those are just natural, like, trappers and hunters that roam the Underdark, right? Drow that, again, it's hard times for Drow right now. They are not the upper crust, and so a lot turn to darker jobs. This was hey, we've got a free mark. So they thought, like, a random dragon rider would fetch a pretty penny, but they weren't expecting Valka. Well, the idea of you bonded with this dragon.
Yeah.
Stormcutter helped, or Cloud Jumper helped you out, and you were able to use this insane magic weapon. They thought you were just some poor lost adventurer too deep in a cave.
Mm-hmm.
So Dax is that like, yeah, that's the Underdark. meaning the Aposoids fled to the Underdark.
Haha, that was my theory all along. I feel so validated.
Good job.
So that sounds like you actually might have stumbled onto the Underdark. The sewers. That's one of the entrances I was considering, but sad to hear that there are mercenaries and bandits out this far.
Right, so
Times are tough.
So do we go that way because we know what we're dealing with at least, or do we hope there's less resistance at a different entrance?
I mean, I could try talking to them. I mean, I definitely came from their ranks, and
That could help. I mean, they obviously weren't interested in talking to me, but maybe you having that common ground
Have you
could help.
told anyone that you killed the mage yet?
I don't know if I said it specifically. If they had asked for details, I would have told them. I just told them I got
I think
ambushed.
Stoic then would go, right, now, do we want to talk to him after you killed their leader?
No, this guy shrugs.
let's find a different entrance.
I wasn't gonna say it out loud, but I was feeling this, it would be inappropriate to kill their leader and come back and go, we want to talk,
Hey, they started the hostilities.
Yes, I agree with
Stoic.
Stoic. Let's not go back.
Yes, you in that party, maybe that entrance isn't the smartest.
Hey, August, before we start making more moves, I realized I remembered my Enochian amulet is gone, and I would have told the party at this point because nobody else was there when Michael destroyed it. Is there a spell that I can use my spell swap thing that could mimic some of the things
I
that the
will
Enochian
actually
amulet
let
does?
you know there is a very specific combination. That, fun fact, Merlin was doing this to the I campaign when Jim Lake Jr., holder of the Fourth Seal, was being tracked by Michael. It costs a lot. I will let you know it is a combination of the casting of protection from evil and good.
Okay, that makes
where
sense.
you cast that and you choose celestials.
Yeah.
Because it helps being charmed or possessed by them. It gives you a lot of resistance.
What level spell is that?
That's only a first level.
Okay, good.
The second spell that has to be used is non-detection.
Can I cast both at once?
Here's the thing. Non-detection is a bit pricier because it requires a pinch of diamond dust worth 25 gold pieces, which is consumed. It's an 8-hour, too, meaning it's something that, again, the I party thankfully had money at that point, but it was costly to keep them all hidden.
Hey, Lord Noric wouldn't have had just a bunch of diamond dust in his mansion, would
Listen, this is a rich oligarch mage.
And he had a room full of
I'll let you tell me, what do you think the DC luck check would be to have just diamond dust? Maybe not full diamonds, but some uses of a diamond dust.
Somewhere between, because I don't know as much about this person as you would, somewhere between 15 and 18.
I think so, right? It's while nice, that's a bit pricey of a thing to leave behind. Yeah, I'm going to say it's a DC 15.
Okay.
It's a natural 20.
Oh!
Not only does he have dust, go ahead and roll me a D12.
12.
A 6.
6. You have 6 little baggies of this diamond dust. You can, if you took it, you could cast this spell 6 times. Now keep in mind, 6 times only gives you 48 hours.
Yeah.
So, but that is in the next 48 hours of can we call upon Gabriel to go get another
amulet? Which party had the extras?
Mountain party.
Yeah, so if we can just ask your dad to go grab one from the mountain party.
If you're willing to trade out now, but that's also the thing is you don't have.
I gotta cast out a first level, and what's the non-detection?
It is a 3rd level.
Okay, so I will trade out Featherfall for the protection from good and evil, and for 3rd level, I will trade out.
The second you do trade out the 1st level, you do now have a recharge. So you're already gonna have to spend a day.
Yeah, and that's a smarter way to do it because otherwise I have to wait 3 days for the other one. Yeah. Okay.
No worries.
But still, having protection from evil and good is still
It's
a
a
benefit
really-
Yeah,
to
that's
you.
true.
It's a great spell because fun fact,
I will still
it's not
cast
even
it.
just for like Celestials and Infernals. You can target a lot. Like I was just listening to this podcast. Someone used it to protect against Fae, Riki Matsui in Unsleeping City, and it destroyed a fight against a bunch of Fae creatures. Right? It's not like you cast it when you're amongst a certain type: aberration,
That's the
celestial,
broad way from
elementals,
level 60s.
Fae, fiend, undead. Exactly, and it really goes hard. It's a wildly good spell.
Yeah.
Um,
So I don't think I can trade it out on my end because it's not a sorcerer
Yes.
spell. But yeah, I'm trading out Featherfall for that.
so you start with that one, which is smart. And again,
Can I do a sending to Gabriel about the
yes, you may.
Enochian amulet thing?
You send off to Gabriel. You don't get a response back, but again, you know at this point Gabriel always hears.
I'm
Right.
going to end it with "I'm so sorry."
Okay. You all, yes. So Minra, you take a moment to double check your spells. Double check, like, hey, before we can get this amulet back.
Worried that people are going to be tracking us through me because I don't have the Enochian amulet.
Again, well, it's also how fast has word spread. Gabriel obviously isn't going to be telling people, and Michael, while he might tell Heaven, would he tell Hell? There is something to be said of you don't want to create enemies, and Michael is still very much under the oaths that Jim Lake Jr. put him under, where he can't technically actively or passively harm you guys. He can do, like he was saying, like that very roundabout way of eventually like letting slip, but is that worth it?
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a gamble. It's that unfortunate you may not know until it's too late.
Okay. Well, here we go.
In which case, Dax, you can easily lead them. It'll just take another 2 hours, so it'll be a little bit closer to nightfall. But down through the Black Forest to another entrance to the Underdark.
I guess while we're like traveling and thinking and stuff, between what they found out back at the Hive and like my tracking stuff, do we have any idea why the Apsoids would have all migrated to the Underdark?
Just that they
Like that insight?
stumbled upon something, and whatever magic they were using went a little south.
Something spooked them really bad.
But we still don't have any specific ideas about like what it is that went wrong or spooked them.
It's that, from what Bart saw, you would have to be insectoid or probably some like higher level, and I don't know if you guys have access to the higher level of spells to like divine spell, because like detect magic can be nice, but it may have just given
But it's
you
not enough.
divination again.
Yeah.
So it's not like, yeah, unfortunately it's tough to tell unless maybe you find someone who's familiar.
That's fair.
As nightfall approaches, it is 7 or 8 in the evening, all of you see a grand tree, gnarled and knotted, oak in appearance. And Dax, as you walk around with that innate kind of knowledge, you see hidden underneath one of the root systems a hole big enough even for Cloud Jumper to kind of squeeze through. All of you would slip. It's like a 6-foot drop, nothing major, and land in a cave system that already seems different than any you've ever been in before.
Interesting.
All of you are now in the Underdark. And that's where we're going to take our break for today.
Okay.
We'll take a break. We'll take a quick 5. Thank you all so much. And we will be back in just a few moments.
One thing with the sorry. Yeah.
Oh, you're good. I was just gonna say, yeah, let's jump back in. Fun stuff.
To the Underdark.
To the Underdark, gang, to the sewers.
Ooh.
As you all
That's just
follow-
taking a deep breath of air and just thinking like, it's nice to be back.
It is. As Dax, you breathe in, all of you, Valken, now having a scent to it, the Underdark is a strange
We
scent.
were gonna look at the cube before we came.
Cube. Keep it on top of the list. Keep it on post-it note. As you all walk into the Underdark,
I need to just keep this in sight so
Um,
that I can remind
you all smell,
Yep,
indeed,
yep,
a
yep.
fresh smell of nature.
I wouldn't have expected fresh.
It's,
I wouldn't have
again,
expected like
fresh
moldy or
is
dirty,
an odd
but,
scent. It's the same way when you're at a supermarket, how mushrooms and rock and water
Yeah.
smell fresh. It's the idea of there is...
So it doesn't.
Well, fresh is more
Had a
a
bubble.
frame of circulation, right? Some caves feel
So
stale and
So it
rotten.
smells like a very large cave system.
It's a cave system that can circulate and become a stable biome. Some caves,
My thought is
again,
like, you know
are...
when you go hiking and you can smell, and you know it's dirt that you're smelling, but the vibe is still that smells fresh.
fresh
That is fair. I
dirt,
love that
fresh
smell. That's what
mushroom.
it
That
is.
smell.
That's
all
a
of
really
you
good way to
see
put it. Thank you.
the most
It makes
I
sense.
understand.
beautiful
It's
crystals.
I know.
Um, bioluminescent mushrooms and crystals casting greens and blues and yellows. There are far out distant. Again, the longer you travel down, the more open things seem to become.
How is this
to
not
you.
a popular vacation spot? This
Because
sounds
you might get
beautiful.
knifed in the back by mercenaries.
There are everything from
Excellent.
mercenaries to monsters, to just also sewers is an apt word where there are kingdoms that have utilized the Underdark as their sewage system. I will say,
Rude.
if you were curious,
Wow,
Ilvanor has
yeah.
not, more for the fact that Ilvanor, they've never truly understood how to access it, but other major kingdoms have gone, hey, you want to know the easiest way to get rid of all our excrement? Down, right? It's the underworld, right? It's just right there, which is completely rude, but hey, that's unfortunately how morality works with a lot of people. As you all walk through, Dax, yeah, it's home. It feels good, and indeed, a lot of natural stuff. Like, immediately, you can point out, hey, that mycinid is explosive. Don't touch that. Oh, hey, be careful. If you walk through that, you'll get a scent that actually can attract minotaurs. Ooh, but, like, you're starting to, like... So, Dax is throwing out, like, all the tidbits, all the information. And Dax, you even see Bart on your shows, like, yes, very good. Yes, oh, good. Yes, no touch, no bad touch. Oh, good touch, good touch.
I'm sorry, did you Spider Familiar just say bad touch?
Bad touch.
I wish Marissa were here. She would appreciate that.
As mycinid that explodes when you touch. Oh, bad touch. Don't touch. Bart says no touch.
Oh my god.
All of you walking through. Here's what's going to be awesome. If you are traveling overland to even just far away, you know the country right before you have to sail to get to England.
Right.
You're looking at maybe 2 weeks across the Alps, a good month and a half going around the Ceresian routes through the Mediterranean, or maybe 3 to 4 weeks if you're sailing from Ilvanor just to London. By going the Underdark route, you have effectively cut the mountainous route in half, timeline-wise. What I will say
cool.
is I'm going to have Dax roll this. You're going to roll me a d4, and I'll explain this. You're rolling a d4 with disadvantage because you want the lower roll. The idea being you are adept at going through here, and you have a really good shot at going faster than most people.
That's a 3.
A 3 is great. Again,
And that's on a D20?
Oh, excuse me. Dax.
That was a D4.
Oh, that is a D4.
A D4, yes. It was a D4, a 3. So, Dax, you go through, and the trip is only going to take 6 days, which is great. It's a solid place to be. There we go. I had a splinter. You never notice when you have a splinter until it suddenly hits a nerve, and you're like, ooh, no.
Oh, I noticed right away. I hate splinters.
Well, in a leather shop with a bunch of leather and metal and stuff. I never seem to notice until it's too late.
I'm so sorry.
Cool. Here's what we're gonna do. That gives everyone a chance to roll for this. We're gonna start with Dax leading the charge. Can you roll us for the first day a D8 and a D12?
You want me to add them together?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's a 4 and a 3 for a 7.
Excellent. As you are all walking through, at the end of the first day, you can all take a long rest, regain hit points and abilities. As you continue on, though, eventually, upon waking, or at least when Dax would tell you it's about morning, Dax, you are walking through, and you hear Bart go, "Oi, I hear friends, big friends. Oh, no, many big friends." As all of you eventually hear, running along a cavern near you, approaching you, are 12 giant spiders. And you see that they are not alone. There is a Drider with them, holding a giant crooked staff, who is sitting there, and you see he's speaking Undercommon. So Dax, you immediately clocked it. We're just, yeah, right, this way, no, keep going, everyone, as you realize this is a giant spider rancher, who is helping kind of throw these spiders. He spots you in the distance and gives a, "Hey, ho, ho," and you see he pulls out some of his own silk and throws his crook, almost like a boomerang, and it doesn't, like, capture any of the spiders. It's, like, by no means grappling, but enough that it, like, hits the ring. He catches it from the other side, using gravity. Whoa! As the Drider looks at you all, notices Dax, and so he'll speak in Undercommon. "Hail, good friend. How are you?"
In Undercommon as well. Hey, we're great, we're fine. We're just passing through to Under London, spent a bit of time out on the surface. Things are going crazy out there.
Aye.
But, how are things here?
Crazier still. I have to move again. Those damned cultists took my land, but I suppose the girls could do with some exercise. And you see all this sort are like calling guys like, no, as yeah. I think at one point, Meredith, you realize one of them was coming up getting ready to poke you and like try to eat you. He's like, no. Because you see this Dread like, right, you're not ambushers now, are you? Looking at you specifically, again, Tice, for that Dax being a drow. I don't want to have to kill you all.
No, we're fine. We're not ambushers at all. We're keeping a little bit more down low. He's gonna reach out and kind of like scritch one of the spiders.
You
like
do that. We're,
kind of
yeah.
pull the topic a little bit away from us having bad intentions, which we don't. But she's a beauty. This one.
You see a spider is doing that weird spidery clicking, and you're like, oh, like when you scratch Bart, it's good. All of you are looking. You see Stoic's looking to a lot of you. His hand is not left the axe on his back. He's just, right, is this good or is this bad?
I think I'm gonna slowly just gotta reach up and like take his hand in mine for the like.
You take it. The Drider will turn again. Driders are these kind of strangely beautiful creatures. They have like multiple eyes on their face, spider bodies, very very drow-like, if we're being honest, though, just these centaurish spider drow. And you see the shepherd kind of looks, well, welcome to the sewers, above worlders.
Thank you.
Under London you're heading.
Aye, that's our destination.
Aye, what business you got there?
We're looking for an old friend we think might be there.
Well, I wish you all the best, though Under London is not very welcoming to any but their own.
I like making friends. I think it'll work out.
Ah, in Undercommon, he turns to you, Dax. That one's gonna die first. I like making friends. She's gonna die.
Yeah.
But hey,
Oh,
now
no,
you
you're right. I should probably let them know.
It's not good. It's not. Honestly,
No, I grew up there, so...
he goes, aye, whatever they're paying you, get your money now and make it double. As you see, he's kind of assuming you're some, like, hired guide, right? Like, he doesn't know the backstory of your friendships and parties, so it's just that, like, hey, if you're their, like, travel guide, get your money now. So you see, he goes,
funny.
well, in common, they must be going, strange workings with the people down here in the Underdark these days. Yes! And you see he breaks his web as quickly as he spun it. The spiders skitter off down one of the far tunnels and are lost to the bioluminescent glows of the caverns.
As he's leaving, Dax is going to kind of not pull everybody aside, but just kind of get everybody's attention and just kind of say, so I should probably let you all know that the sewers are not a very welcoming place. There's kind of a hierarchy going on. Up at the top you have the Toad. He's the king. He's in charge of everything. His favorite subjects are the rat folk. Just don't make them upset or anything. And then underneath them we have us, the Drow. But life is tough here. Most of the Drow are not going to be very friendly, Minareth. Sorry. But it is kind of standard and normal to stab your neighbor in the back for whatever he has. Not all of their fault. I mean, most of it is Lolth. She's not very... Well, Dax is not going to say anything about Lolth. Because we're back in the Underdark in her domain.
Yeah, you are in the goddess of the Underdark and of spiders and of creatures and abominations. Yeah, maybe not best to talk about a goddess in her domain. So Dex, you bring that about staff first, ask questions later. Indeed, you are in a bit of a different area. Now I will say, these rolls are occurring every day, which I will let you know for anyone that didn't have a drow or someone that knows the sewers. These would be happening basically every other hour. The Underdark has a lot that by having someone who's from here can just auto-avoid a lot. But that being said, after the first day, the second day will soon start. Minareth, do you want to give me the roll for the second day? And I will say, everyone's going to have a chance to roll here.
And I roll a D8 and a D12.
D8, D12, add them together.
Okay. D8 is a 3. Is a 2. So that's 5.
5.
Oh no. Oh no.
Alright. Minareth.
Yeah.
As you are all heading, you are passing through. The Underdark is a strange and very cool biome to, like, discover. And so what you're finding is a lot of creatures down here are not in any way similar to the ones you see above. Indeed, after some time, you're walking, Dax taking you through this large open cavern, moving through. Off in the distance, you even see, like, okay, there's a spot to rest. Like, there's some small rocky outcroppings. You will watch as the rock outcroppings then suddenly all stand and spread out on 4 legs. And you realize the rocks are actually these very tightly interwoven, jagged scales. As almost 400 times larger, but a large salamander. These elemental creatures stand, and you realize the rocks, now that they are standing, I will let you know because you had a high enough passive perception to notice them.
Mm-hmm.
The rocks are starting to begin to fleck like magma underneath cooled stone, where every so often the scales shimmer with red light. You're noticing about 3 of them, these large creatures that they're kind of in your path, but if you move around them, it might take a little bit longer and you might find something else.
Can I do an insight check on them? Do they look friendly?
Yeah, make an
Because
insight
you
check.
said the drow aren't friendly.
Yes, Dax made no mention of salamanders, but again, it's that because salamanders are technically salamanders of the Underdark are elemental. They're not technically beasts or monstrosities.
A 5 plus a 6 is 11.
11. 11. I think it's that like they are not welcoming creatures, so it's that like it could be worth a shot, but also no one in your party speaks elemental languages, and you may not want to risk these. These are large creatures. They are not just like.
Are we like
simple.
all here and seeing this?
It's Minrith would have been like the idea of if Dax is always taking charge. If this was the day Minrith though was look at.
I
it,
will then say, Dax, is it polite to give rock salamanders a wide girth?
What exactly does Dax know about rock salamanders? I mean, my intuition is yes.
Go ahead. I think your intuition is naturally very good. Go ahead and give me a history check. Again, I'll give you advantage. Oh, and I should point out, technically, a rock salamander is something different. These are just called salamanders. They are just flavored. They have strange, fun, elementally scales that look like rocks, where if they're still, they can kind of look normal.
That's cool.
That's a 21. History.
Dax, you know, there are some warriors that will tame them for beasts, but usually you have to be really extreme to do so because salamanders, they're hunters, right? I mean, they are predators themselves, especially down here, right? I mean, they feast on exploding myconids that give them a lot of their elemental power. It's that, like, you could just strong arm them or animal check them, like the idea of treat them with respect, but for the most part, you think people would give them a wide berth.
They're probably going to see you as food, unless you're really convincing otherwise. But might be wise to give them some space.
Would they have to roll for my dragon fear if we got close enough?
Yeah, no. Any
Because I'm
creature
wondering
that's not an ally has to auto
So
start
if we
rolling
got
for fear.
within like 60 feet or wherever it is, there's a chance we could scare them off with that, and they might leave. Is that like possible?
Well, yeah, and I think it's also compounded now. I mean, before it's just that idea of Valka's presence is fearful. It's being a dragon rider.
I do have
this
a
very-
real dragon with me now
Hey,
to back that up.
we all know watching the second How to Train Your Dragon movie when like Valka rose above the clouds before we knew who it was, and the freaky mask and like
He was just like,
just like seeming to fly. Like it's the idea of if you want to see if Valka can do just that natural, like could I just scare him off with my presence?
I mean, I'm down.
Yeah.
Minareth believes Valka to be a very
They have
scary
to-
individual.
I'm always nice to you.
They're gonna make a wisdom save.
No, like, I'm so
Yes.
grateful to have you be my friend.
I'm glad.
Here we go.
Valka is a sweetheart to me.
I'm going to roll then their wisdom saves. Yes, there's 3 of them. A natural 5, a natural 8, and a natural 20.
All right.
I will make a check for the last one though. As immediately you like Cloudjumper like low growl and does that again, flying leap, just a boom, boom, boom. As you get close, you see 2 of the salamanders, and like one like hot tongue licks over its eyes and wipes away the like crusted rock that had cooled there. Both of the salamanders seeing you turn and run. The largest of the 3 will make a check now that it's alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, should I just...
You want higher numbers. 17.
All right.
This salamander does not want to go mano-a-mano against you and the rest of the party. As again, now that it knows you're here, its passive perception's enough to spark a bit of that thought process. So the big one as this large salamander kind of disgruntledly skitters off into the Underdark. And you guys can continue on with your way.
Well, there we go.
Valk, it pays to be afraid. Or it pays to be
scary.
As the Crude say, never not be afraid.
Never not be afraid.
That was so good.
Yeah. Cool. Gingy, do you want to make me our third day's travel check? This is a D8 and a D12. All right. That is a 4 and a 2.
We're not rolling super high.
You're not rolling super high, but again, when parties get to levels 9 and 10, you guys are getting very just innately powerful. Again, if you were lower levels, this would have been a lot of encounters.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, between Dax's know-how and Valka's scariness, Gingy, on the third day, you guys would come across this grand underground lake. This lake looks beautiful and dangerous. As Gingy, you're seeing the harsh, jagged rocks and crystals growing in the bottom of the lake, and noticing that even though it's underground, this lake seems very clear, right? You're noticing there's actually kind of like some water that runs to and fro. Every so often, Gingy, you sense something moving beneath the waves. Gingy, I'm trying to think of the check I need you to make. Oh, this is not good. Actually, Gingy, here's what I need to do. Can you tell me what your passive perception is?
Passive. There it is. I knew it was at the bottom. 13.
All right. It's 1, 2. Gingy. As you are walking around this lake, Dax leading you through, you know something's in the water. Whatever's in the water does not seem pleasant. It seems like it's slowly following you. Gingy, I will let you know you can direct the party in this moment because you're the one seeing this. Would you rather have the party try to move stealthily, try to just slip out of their notice? Or would you like the party to just start running fast and just quickly try to outpace this?
Something. What is it? And I think slowly so it doesn't see us. Or am are we good?
Yeah, Gingy, you, straight up Dax, Gingy pulls you aside, points to the water. Yeah, Dax, go ahead and give me either a perception or a history. 16. Dax, many aquatic creatures call the Underdark their home. If there are some following you, you have a very bad suspicion that these are Chul. Chul are creepy. Imagine a lobster on magical drugs kind of vibe, like large, imposing, scary creatures. And on 16, I'll say you remember these things are technically not true beasts. They were made. Chul can detect magic. They actually hunt by finding magical things and devouring them, helping feed their unnatural forms. You get a very strong suspicion if you're gonna hide, everyone's got to beat the DC, but if you run, it might trigger an encounter.
Oh, dang.
And, thinking through then, do our Enochian amulets count as some of that magic that they're sensing?
Fun fact, it may not even just be the Enochian amulets. They can sense magic orders around any visible creature or object that bears magic. It's that very unfortunate, like, these things are predators for magic. They hunt magical things.
Very softly, I'm gonna let the rest of the party know. It's like, hey, don't freak out, but there are trolls I believe are hunting us. You're all magical, so yeah. If we hide, there's a very good chance that they would find us. Running might trigger a predatory instinct. How many? I guess Gingy. How many?
How many do I see?
Gingy, the problem is you don't see them. You just know they're there. I will say, unfortunately, they rolled higher than your passive perception enough that it's like you were able to spot them on that immediate, like, kind of roll off initiative style, like, hey, who spots who? But they're now in the hunt and they are hiding, and it's their numbers could be few, could be many.
I think we should get out of here and run as fast as we can.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Because if we hide, there's a good chance they find us anyway, and getting away from their home, it sounds like a good idea.
Alrighty. I will let you know. You guys are close enough to where you think the lake edge would end, and there's an offshoot cavern. We are going to... I need a group athletics check. But this is a group DC. Unlike the hide, where every single person would have to beat a DC, there is more of a pass-fail here.
Can I use my augury point to
Oh no, that was Gingy who had it.
Gingy has the extra bardic.
Okay.
I rolled a nat 13 for a total of 20.
Whoo! Total of 20. Well done.
Oh, okay, so I got a nat 20, but I have -1, so it's a 19.
Oh,
But critical success
I'm still
still
gonna
counts, right?
honor the natural. Again, Dax is out like, we gotta run. And suddenly Dax is a full Olympic 100-meet sprinter. Where, boom, boom, you are on the starting block, knees high, whew, and Dax is just taking off. Gingy, what did you get for your check? Gingy, I will give you this. Stoic just got a 31. Stoic just goes, right, picks you up, shoves you in his beard, and on the 31 he's like, let's run, as this dude...
Like a beard crumbs, but it's
I
this
got a
full
15.
gingerbread
The beard
man.
crumbs, but he's got a whole cookie. How much in it?
15.
15?
Nice.
I have not used my augury point. Unless
The lowest, because the DC that you needed to beat was a 15.
Oh, perfect.
The only person to fail, and between Dax's nat 20, again, Dax that, like, we gotta run, and everyone else just booking it, and still just being like, not today, and shoving you deep in his beard.
That's amazing.
I love it.
And Valka, again, you have cloud jump, you can also take this guy. Trolls can't fly. All of you book it, and as 5 or so trolls erupt out of the water, breaching like dolphins, you all have already started the dash action. They were not prepared to dash. They were prepared with held actions. They don't have really range. Again, their big stuff is pincers and grappling. You all sprint down the lakeside on the 3rd day and disappear into the Underdark as the angry tentacled trolls murmur amongst themselves, slipping back into the crystal waters and hiding once more. You guys survived the 3rd day.
Alright.
Here we go. 4th day. We'll go with Valka. I know you've already done this, but we'll give you a chance to roll again.
Alright, this is the D8 and the D12?
D8 and
And
D12.
I'm adding them together?
Correct.
that's gonna be a 4.
Oh my gosh.
I rolled a 1 on the d12 and a 3 on the d8.
We're really just consistently rolling.
There's just something about rolling a 1 on a d12 that...
That's hilarious.
Right.
That
But it's a total of 4.
A total of 4. Cool. I need to get something ready. All of you are walking. It is the 4th day. As Valka flies, eventually you will notice that you are entering a bit of a mushroom forest.
Okay.
The fungi have grown to the size of small to large trees. They each shed their spores down. And Dax, you would have warned, like, hey, try not to breathe them, obviously, but if it gets in your mouth, you can actually kind of pick them out. Like, just don't let them grow. Very bad for your lungs. Valka, Cloudjumper's hopping mushroom to mushroom. As you suddenly hear... Something has caught your scent. As off in the distance, a pack of truly horrifying looking creatures. Large monstrosities with beak-like mouths curved like Skeksis. Giant hooks from each stump of hand curved down, coated in blood of creatures. They are rushing forward like raptors, big Tokla, these theropods rushing forward. Dax, these are hooked horrors, and these are some of the deadliest things to find down here. I need everyone to roll initiative.
Right, I roll, and suddenly it's the deadliest things to
That's
find
a
down
nat
here.
20!
It's the one that, like, when these things hunt, they're not stealthy. Like, with the tools, Gingy was able to, like, notice, and it's that, like, oh, we might be able to do something about them. Hooked horrors are very just one-track mind. Here we go, gang. Did anyone get 20 or higher?
Nat 24.
Nat 20, all right. And we get 15 to 20.
18?
Valka, 18. Gingy, what did you get? 18 as well. All right. Did Dax, what did you get?
11.
11. All right.
Oh, do I need to roll a separate initiative for Cloudjumper?
I actually realized he does roll with you. He's your mount. And
yeah,
the
that makes
horrors
sense.
got
I just
a.
wanted to confirm.
Here we go. Just quickly checking. Yeah, they don't add anything to Dex.
Having his own initiatives with how often we all
nobody has
split
any,
up.
like,
Because no one
stats with it.
chose. Yeah. Here we go, gang. The hooked horrors are attacking. You will immediately notice there are 4 of them. These things look truly bloodthirsty. These are predators that just eat and don't care what they eat. I will let you know, though, you all did insanely well, and Dax is the only one going last after the hooked horrors.
How many of these are there?
There are 4 of them in a tight pack rushing forward. So when they are 30 feet away, Minrith, you... Again, Valka, by the time you fly in and be like, hey, I see them, they are arriving. Minrith, that is you.
I would like to cast slow on them.
Oh, you love slow.
I love that you just keep using this spell to such good effect.
It's
Slow
such an
is
underused
It
spell.
really
breaks
cool.
every encounter.
Up to 6 creatures,
When it
40-foot
works,
cube.
when it
Yeah,
works.
hooked
Because
horrors.
they do have to fail.
They're going to make this save.
And I would like them to do so at disadvantage.
Your augur
Well, I'm
point
using the auger
I was gonna say,
can
you'd
only do
have
it
to
for
only affect
one.
of them.
So I
That's
will
true.
let you know. I'll say if you choose now to use for one of them.
Yes.
Cool.
So whichever one rolls the highest, I would like.
Yes,
to.
part of your abilities is you can choose. I had to quick look and be like, is that something you
Yeah,
have to
I
call?
forgot that.
No
I
worries.
have to do
Here we go. Wisdom saves. What's your save DC?
17.
17.
Such a good DC.
You want an augur point? I'll let you know. a 5, an 8, a 10, and an 18. All of them have a +1. Augur pointing the 18 would cause, in theory, all of them to fail.
If it rolls
It's a nat 2.
Oh, yes!
Minrith, what? Moon, real quick. Red light, boom, 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 erupts out of your intricate markings and tattoo, boom, as red lunar energy pulsates out like a target ring in the Underdark. Each of the hooked horrors, boom, 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 boom. As they are like using their hooks, they are about to like launch themselves forward. All of them are slowed, meaning -2 to AC, Dex saving throws, can't use reactions, and can only use action or bonus action, not both.
And have speed.
And halved speed. Oh my heavens.
I would also like to ready my ice pick.
You ready the ice pick. Minrith, insane nat 20. Stoic is going to boom, 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 boom. He rages. You see his eyes just glow a little red. That true Viking berserker energy. Stoic rushes forward, is going to stamina point, swing at the hooked horror in front. Thank you so much for lowering their AC. That's a 29 and a 21 still hits.
Excellent.
19 plus 20. He deals 39 points of damage to the first hooked horror, who immediately looks bloody as this barbarian charges in. Boom, 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 slashing through the great axe. He completely cuts off one of the hands of the hooked horror as it, like, trying to slowly scream in pain. Gingy, that is your turn with Falca on deck.
Am I still in Stoic Spear?
Yeah, I think you are. I think it's not like, hey, that was really nice of you yesterday. Can I hitch a ride? So yeah, you're in Stoic Spear right up next. These hooked horrors look horrifying in, like, up close. They're pock-marked and boiled with, like, grotesque, like, skin and little spines on their sides. They're not cool creatures. They're monstrosities.
Just you a wall of air.
What was that? Sorry, the mic did that thing where it every so often does. It happened to Tice a little bit earlier, but yeah, I was like, oh no.
Do a wall of fire around these guys. Like, can I just make a ring around them?
Yes,
you corral them up.
Gingy, you summon forth the innate fires of the ovens of this cosmos as small butane, like ovens when they start, you hear the click, 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 click as like gas and the fire starts small. You see all of these slowed hordes like turning as the fire glints in their eyes. Boom! And explodes upward in a sudden burst of arcane energy. When the wall appears, they're each going to make a dex saving throw, and they have a -2 to it now, thanks to slow. Oh, we're about to have roasted hook horror for dinner, gang.
Are they also getting disadvantaged on stuff? Did they, like, roll for a frightful presence?
It's not really going to trigger until your turn starts. That's when it's, like, kind of, again, the idea of you begin, and it's like, and now we resolve that. But they do have a -2 to this save. Gingy, what's your spell save DC?
15.
Gingy, I rolled 4d20. If you add them together, it's an 11.
Oh my god!
I rolled a nat 1, a nat 2, a nat 3, and a nat 5.
That is beautiful.
You do love to
It's
see
actually more annoying that it wasn't a 4.
I
I can't believe... Oh my gosh. So, one of them got not only a nat 1, it's like in the small bit of time and movement has this hooked horror leans over your small little butane fire to be like, what? As it's like investigating when you crank the gas and boom! Jeez Louise. You roast these creepy looking raptors. Go ahead. That's 5d8 fire damage. Oh my heavens.
I'm sorry, I just love the idea of little Gingy going like,
Yeah, Gingy like turning some ethereal like oven clicker and just,
gosh.
and this tiny little flame.
That's 27 points of damage.
Oh my gosh. 27 points of damage. The hooked horror that Stoic hit is on death's door. All of the others immediately look horrifyingly hurt as Gingy just cranks the flame, starting to roast them. Yeah, it smells like poultry and mushrooms cooking down here right now.
Actually, that's a great
It's
combo.
not a bad combo where it's like, okay, I could get behind some like char-grilled mushroom and bird. But again, hookers, they're not birds. They're, yes. Gingy, insane turn again, getting right up there with Stoic, just burning him alive. Valka, that is your turn. They're each going to make a wisdom save against your DC.
It's only a 14. Did they roll really badly?
The highest was a synthetic 13.
Love to see it.
All of these things which were coming in to just rip you guys alive are frightened.
Excellent. And does Mountain Combatant give me advantage on an attack roll?
And Mountain Combatant gives you on any creature that's not mounted.
So
Basically.
I am going to do another Rite of the Storm and take another 5 points of damage.
Lightning crackles off you and Cloud Jumper. It's a really cool combo, if we're being honest. Lightning ripples down these bat-like wings into your skin and boom! Just explodes out.
I'm gonna roll a quick attack with Dragon Fang. For that one's super cocked.
Which one are you attacking? The one that's already Death's Door or one of the fresher ones?
I was gonna go for probably one of the fresher ones.
Gotcha.
That is... Well, I have to attack, so I could actually go for the Death Store one first.
Yeah, kind of like down one,
Yeah.
move on.
Yep.
Yep.
So, 21 to hit.
21 for sure hits.
Excellent.
If you'd be surprised, hooked horrors don't have anything like shield or parry. They are hooked horrors.
That was not a reroll, that kind of dropped. Alright, okay. 22 points of damage.
22 for the first one that's on Death's Door is down. You stab through its arm, falls to the ground dead.
So then my second attack will be on one of the fresh ones.
Hell yes.
That's a natural 20. I should have stamina pointed.
Oh
dang.
my gosh.
Alright, so I guess I'll just roll. I've got my 3d6 and I'll roll them twice. And
Yes.
I only add my modifier once.
Yes, only add once. Yeah, only the dice double.
Rolling so many ones. Good thing I have great weapon mastery.
It's a terrifying one to take.
Okay.
Oh, I was like, are you just rolling again?
34.
34 points of damage. You down one of the hook doors, cut it down. The next one you cut through on this crit, you stab deep into it. It is on Death's Door.
I have a reaction.
Okay.
Blood Curse of the Fallen Puppet.
Are you gonna use the hook door to kill a hook door?
Yes.
You know what we call this move?
A
Beating a
Valorant.
motherfucker
Beating
with
a
another motherfucker.
motherfucker.
You beat a hook door with the other one as your draconic rites burn
Oh
behind
my
your eyes as this
gosh.
hook door, its milky white eyes suddenly flare in that ghostly greenish red, turns at its companion, and it's gonna make an attack. Jeez Louise. Here we go. That for sure hits. Dealing 11 points. 34. Your reaction, Crimson Right. The hooked horror, as you stab deep into it, the hooked horror uses its hooked hands, claws the sword out of its chest, and as it's like turning to find you, you blood curse the other one, and it takes both of them just straight through the sides of its skull. It drops to the ground dead.
Yes!
That is so
Valka,
Such a good turn.
you have killed, my gosh,
2 out of 4.
2 out of 4. Again, Gingy burned them all
yeah.
to the point of almost badly bloodied. They are all on that threshold. And Valka just steps in, boom, boom, and kills 2. It
Blood
is
hunters, man.
the Hooked Horror's turn.
I'm so happy.
Now, I will let you know, I made a quick roll, because technically they do rely on blind sight and echolocation.
Oh,
Your Crimson Right was
cool.
not loud enough to deafen or do anything to that. You see, like, when the thunder crackles and lightning sparks off you, they definitely shy away from it, but it's not enough to, like, take away some of their abilities. Versus, then, the Hooked Horrors are going to rush
But they
forward.
are now all frightened.
They are going to attack Cloudjumper, being the biggest creature here.
Are they?
Yeah.
Or because I can make them not
Mountain
target
combat, you
Cloudjumper.
can immediately make it target you.
Yeah.
Yes. You watch. The Hooked Horrors are going to make 2 attacks.
Are those disadvantaged because of the frightened?
Well,
Because they
now
all failed.
so I'm not going to roll. Their first attack already rolled a nat 4. Not going to work. Second attack, it's a nat 1. Now the second Hooked Horror is going to attack you at disadvantage, saving you from a nat 20. That's a nat 3. Nat 5. So highest of any of their rolls was a 15.
I got an AC of 17.
Cloudjumper is doing that really cool, again, using his wings, flipping himself upside down so that you are right where the attacks are coming. But it's that, like, you have started training for this. You know he's going to do this.
It's not like I'm hanging onto him with my thighs and, like, have my shield free to, like, bash them away.
Jeez, thigh saves lives as you and cut through, blocking all of their attacks. Yeah, these guys made a bad call, gang. Dax, that's you. There are 2 left. They are badly burned. I should say, they did move out from the wall of fire. They did not stay there.
That's fair.
Well, I'm gonna push him back in.
Oh, do you have repelling blast?
He does!
Yes, Warlocks!
That's
Yeah, I have
beautiful.
repelling blast, so I'm going to take my 2 attacks, 1 on each of them.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, this was 1 round.
I'm telling you.
The first one hit. The second one is a 12 to hit.
I love this party.
The first
Right.
hits. The second, unfortunately, a 12 will barely hit thanks to slow.
Yeah.
I was about to say, oh yeah, that does. Nope, they have a lowered AC right now.
Such
Disgusting.
good setup. The party synergy
First
is funny,
one.
guys.
The order
So,
So
Yes.
I'm pulling out my knitting needles and kind of like flint and steel, like striking
Yeah.
off these sparks into the first one. It's going to take 8 points of force damage and be pushed 10 feet back into the wall of fire.
boom!
It's like, nope,
You
nope, back you go.
strike, and again, all of you watch the knitting needles strike in that flint. Dax's flame, the wall of fire seems to erupt a brighter golden, and it's almost as if the flame itself drags the creature back into it,
Oh,
kicking and screaming to its fiery doom.
that's terrifying.
Second one takes 13 points of damage
Second one
and
takes-
meets a similar fate.
Similar fate. Gingy, can you roll me another 5d8? That just triggers anytime it enters or ends its turn there. So yeah, they were gonna be fine, but Dax
they
said, nope.
entered.
24!
Are you serious?
As these things burn alive, I will let you know, they're both on death's door. Oh, they want to get out of here so badly.
Unfortunately, it's not their turn.
I need to make 2 quick rolls. Okay. They are still slowed and frightened. I forgot to make those checks at the end of their turn. Because I'm like, oh, well, if they'd succeeded, I don't think Dex would have gotten both. They're both on death's door, being burned alive slowly.
Slow roasted.
Slow roasted. Minareth, that is your go. With
Oh.
Stoic on deck, who
These things aren't
If you don't
surviving long.
finish them, Stoic will. He doesn't even have to stamina point
I'm
this.
honestly surprised that they lasted this long. I'm not gonna lie.
I am. Again, it's we're getting to that point in D&D where like initiative really matters, surprise conditions, like who goes first. It's a lot of these like if these things had gotten a jump on you, they could have done some damage, but they didn't.
I don't want to enter the Ring of Fire, but I'll just add a little bit more. I'll just go ahead and firebolt one of them.
To a firebolt. Okay.
Okay, that's an 18. So thankfully that hits their 12 AC.
18 hits.
2d10. That's a 10. That's a 9.
So 19.
19
Yeah.
fire damage. Minrith.
It's only one of them. I don't really have
Is that
damaging
like
spells.
this hook are it's dragging itself out of the fire, and you just snap your fingers, summon a little bit of that like reddish moonlight, and as your red fiery light, boom, and as it topples back into the flame and burns alive.
Stoic.
There is
go.
one left. It's already on death's door. Stoic just walks forward into the flame, and just
He's just
crushes it under his boot. It dies. You guys all come out of initiative. Dang, guys, well done.
That was great. When you were saying these are some of the most deadly creatures, I'm like, oh crap, oh crap, oh
These
crap.
can be.
Oh, I believe it. It was just so lucky.
It was just our initiative was so stacked
Initiative.
against them.
Initiative really matters. It can't be stressed enough.
It was like the first time we saw a beholder in Fantasy High when just the party bum rushed it.
Oh
and
yeah,
burned
the
it,
beholder
shit,
fight where
legendaries.
all of you just bum rushed and went in, and Adam went bestial.
No, I was
and
talking about the Fantasy High one. Because Red had
Oh.
like already taken away its legendaries and stuff to nerf it, but then the whole party like went first and it went last.
Yes.
It was one of the like one shots.
Oh! I thought you were talking about Disney D&D for some reason. I'm like,
No.
oh yeah, that beholder fight. Also, when you
Yeah.
guys took out the red dragon and Adam took out so many pixies at
When
once.
Rapunzel just disintegrated it.
Right, like, yeah, no,
I
initiative
can't
is
remember
really
if that
cool.
was the redo or the original.
I
but it
don't
happened
remember.
at one
Either
point.
way, it happened.
Well, I will say it's the same thing to be said of other parties have had bad initiatives in the past
Yeah.
couple days.
Oh yeah.
And,
Oh yeah.
well, gang, you guys are doing great. I'm
Which
gonna make
means
actually
crap is about to go
the
down.
last quick rolls for the last 2 days, because the idea of Stoic and Adora would have been doing these. On the 5th day.
Do we get to like heal up before the next encounter?
Yes, you would all take a long rest. Yeah, these
Not
are like
really
these
much,
encounters
but-
are very quick, like on a day to day, because you have Dax. If you didn't, we would be having to go hour by hour and seeing if long rest. You do avoid a lot, kind of like with Rapunzel in the Dark Forest, of Dax being from the Underdark. It's a cool
It's
feeling.
so convenient.
It's really cool.
We
It's
have
really
a
cool.
guide.
One of these long rests.
Dax and Rapunzel would be
that
friends.
cube.
Dax and Rapunzel would so be friends.
Yep.
Yeah, they would love each other.
Here we go.
I love
As
how
you
it
guys,
turns like that mouse. That
Enter.
chameleon pet spider. Yeah, it's a tiny little creepy crawly.
Bum. On the 5th day, there's not a lot that happens, thankfully. You guys move through. There's a few more underground watery places. There are some creatures that move out in the distance, but you notice nothing will attack you. Finally, on the 6th day, you know today is the day you will reach the under far, far away, after which point it's crossing the vast channel and making it to Under London. It's pretty close. I mean, it's within grasp. As you approach, though, the edge of this city, all of you with no check needed because this thing just can't really stealth, see a rather huge giant creature. This giant is humanoid, but from the looks of it, how do I want to describe this? You see that it has a rather large protruding like hump, very Quasimodo. One of its eyes is definitely bigger than the other and is holding a club. But you see that on his, like, shirt isn't the right word. It is a tattered vest. There is that, like, small little strip sash. And all of you would read the words, Border Patrol. As you approach this, this is a Fomorian giant, is the official title. Dax, yeah, these things aren't, like, very uncommon, but they're closer to uncommon. It's not, like, you're not going to see these as much because they're huge. It's hard for them to live in, like, other camps and cultures in the Underdark. The giant kind of sees you all approaching. And you see it looks down. You see it kind of like its grip tightens around this great club. The club is the size of Stoic, I should say. It is truly an impressive piece of rock. As the giant kind of looks up. And kind of hefts the club like a batter, pointing to the outfield. Hold up!
In Undercommon, I'm going to call out and say, Hail Border Patrol. I have business in Under London. I've been at the surface for some time. These are accompanying me.
Company? As you see, the giant leans down, Dax. This eye is half the size of you as it sort of blinks. What business do you have in the realms of the great Lord Toad?
Kind of. Well, you see, I'm from here. I'm returning home.
Home, you say? Dax, go ahead and give me a persuasion check.
Yep. It is a 24.
Nice.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I will let you know. I rolled a 17 for him for his insight. That, like, 19 synthetically doesn't beat 24. The Fomorian giant leans in. You smell. His breath is rank with, like, dead fish and fungus that he eats. If you're getting home, why'd you leave in the first place?
Well, it's kind of a complicated story. Well, you see, I needed to get out and...
I don't like complicated.
I'm sorry, sir. Yes.
I like 3-act structure. Give me inciting incidents, give me concluding events, and give me resolutions.
I left, met a god, found these people, and I'm saving the world.
I like that. Simple. You're the good guy in the story. The god's the bad guy. Supporting characters. Nice.
Yes, I am a good guy in the story.
You are, and Dex,
He's like,
in this
I'm not
odd, like,
this
self-realization
very
from a giant that could eat all of you, he goes, alright, you can enter. That was a good story. And you think this dude's gonna be thinking about this, like, very simple 3-act story for weeks.
I love that so much.
Dax, you usher the group past this giant in through to Under Far, Far Away. Under Far, Far Away, or Underway, is a pretty interesting place. You see that this is truly sewer system. As you all go through, you would see that the tunnels you are now marching through, for lack of a better word, is round with greenish, gooey water that you know is just ripe with infected material and disgusting things. Moving in in and through, you're seeing a lot of different people here. There are rat folk, of course, that you see who walk. The rat folk usually are walking with a lot of guards, like you're seeing orcs, like Underdark orcs with their strange blotchier skin moving with them. The rat folk also sometimes have these driders, or you're noticing like driders are pulling like those like weird punking chariots for people to ride in. There are groupings of drow that move to and fro. Duergar, the very like more dwarvish, shorter folk, and even every so often you're catching strange other creatures. Like there are cyclops, minotaurs, giants. Every so often you actually do think you spot like, we would call them like red caps, but those gnomes that are just like bloodthirsty little buggers that love just stabbing, that zip to and fro. As you move through, there's a lot of things being hawked down here. It's like the world's largest farmer's market, where every so often you hear, fresh ooze, when the economy fails, ooze prevails. You hear another, cat mushrooms, roasted this morning, might be poisonous, but for another couple pieces of copper, I'll put salt on them. And finally, like, there's a couple like, armor, just gotta take the limbs out yourself, fresh armor from the King's Guard. And you see, indeed, horrifyingly dismembered bodies in a cart that these giant cyclops are hawking that still have the people inside from where they got mangled.
Does anybody need extra armor?
Falcon's immediately like, sounds bad, but do we need armor? I actually think you guys are
Dax is gonna get a mushroom.
From the dragon
Dax,
like...
Dax, I could go for a mushroom. Like, that's street food here, right? Like, ooh, maybe poisonous mushrooms for only 2 copper.
That's amazing.
Hey, and for 3 copper, it's salted. And I'll say whoever wants to pay. It's like, have you ever eaten, like, big popcorn, like popcorn kernels that are just really big? It's very dried out roasted mushrooms that have a lot of salt on them. So it's just like crunch puff.
I will stay away because I don't trust the fact that it may or may not be poisonous. I'm like,
you don't trust the mayor. Yeah, the disclaimer the vendor gives, like, right, and if you don't die, come back for seconds. And you see this woman, maybe a hag, kind of like cackles a little bit under her breath. Yeah, no, like, Dax, you're chomping away. I mean, this is great. Like, woohoo, it's only maybe poisonous. You guys move through Underway. Go ahead and give me a quick, we're going to call this a party stealth check. And it's not so much as you think you're being tracked or followed. It's more of that, like, you don't want to draw attention.
Alright, a check
so
where I have
can it be a
disadvantage plus 0.
charisma-based stealth?
It's not
it's
charisma.
more, no.
It's still using dexterity, because again, the idea of you need dexterity to move through crowds, to avoid things.
I went, this is a disadvantage.
Alright, you said stealth check?
Stealth check, yeah.
You gotta know. I rolled a 2 and a 3.
A 2 and a 3, Valka.
Oh, that's a 19, but
Those
I
were
have
hot.
disadvantage.
That's another 25.
25.
That's for
Dax is gone.
13.
Gingy with a 15, Minarith with a 13, and Valka with a 2. I will let you know, Stoic actually got an 8, and it makes sense where, Gingy, you do a better job hiding, because again, nestling into Stoic's beard, you're gone forever, right? It's not like, oh my gosh, like, I could make a house in here. And Minarith, it's not like you're bad at stealth, but you have to fight a lot of those tendencies. Like, every time you see someone, you see this poor little kid standing on the street corner looking down at an empty bowl with only a few copper pieces scattered around it. And right before you go to shake his hand or offer, you just hear, like, stab me, his kid's gonna stab me, he's gonna stab me, everyone's gonna stab me down here. And you have to, like, restrain yourself from greeting. Okay. Dax, on a 25, Dax is that full, like, city-bound New Yorker in the middle of rush hour where you are just moving in around people, ducking, weaving, and spinning, and, like, you're not being touched. Valka is making a lot of waves, however.
You know what? That is fair.
As Valka, you are being followed by a large dragon whose eyes have become very cattish reptilian. Just, like, again, this poor dragon's senses are going overload of, like, danger, 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 danger. And you indeed see there are other drow, obviously not the ones you met, but those with nets and different pikes that just watch only with their eyes as you pass, weighing the consequences of, do we start a brawl in the middle of the street? But that could be a really good prize for a dragon. All of you eventually move enough. I now have to make a check. Unfortunately, Valka is working against this check. You just don't want a 5 or lower.
Can I use a augur point for that?
Do you want to? I will re-roll and take the advantage.
I have all long rested.
I have all long rested. I won't tell you what I rolled, but
I know.
if you want it, we can do it. Or you could keep it.
Let's keep it for now.
All right.
I mean, I know that I can't change my mind.
You have
anymore.
elected to keep a natural 20.
Alright.
Good job. I rolled it right. We're like, well, what if I use this? I'm like, oh, you want me to reroll? You, on a natural 20, Dax, I shouldn't say Dax is doing all the work, but it is that, like, it's so helpful to be like, Dax, Underway is not the same as Under London, but this is very much streets where you grew up. So I think it's that, like, Dax, you notice the hunters that Cloud Jumper, and the, like, orphans, like, you know, I would say, Dax, do you think you pulled the Sad Orphan Con before in your life?
Oh, I totally did.
Right, like, hey, a small kid who looks dejected with one piece of copper in front of him, you're gonna get bank, and you can even take their life when you do so, right? It's that, like, very dark way. So, Dex, you're helping lead the party through, like, don't hug them, stay away from them.
Don't hug them.
And leading people in and through different alleyways, until Dex, on a nat 20, I will let you know, you think you're maybe a few minutes away from that church you remembered last session. The church that did seem to have some other, like, religious aspects, that very strange area. If you want, you actually think that could be a safer place to lie low. Of, hey, you may have already made some waves with a dragon, a core, a cookie-born, So, like, going to the church could provide you some respite.
Yeah, I think that's where I would be leading everybody.
Yeah, all of you see Dax will lead you. It's only a few minutes away. Eventually you see a impressive-looking building. It's built very much like old Catholic churches in the Midwest, where it's very simple, kind of like that. It's got a tower, but instead of a bell on the tower, you see it has this large bioluminescent crystal.
That is cool.
And around the outside, it's that very simple brick and mortar mud used to, like, seal up. And you written above in Undercommon, Dax can translate, is the Church of All Gods.
Interesting.
Entering in, you see a couple people in here. You see a couple drow. There is a rat folk also as well. And you actually also see 2 bugbears. Those very, like, hairy goblinoid. Think like if Chewbacca got a squish nose and was really mean kind of creature. And you see these bugbears. All the creatures in here do seem to be in a form of supplication. You see some of the drow are kind of on their knees, very Catholic style, in front of a pew. The bugbears are both sitting cross-legged with a beautiful, like, golden incense holder. But you see the holder is actually shaped like a skull, like an open mouth skull. And some of the other, even like the 1 or 2 rat folk in here, are kind of sitting off in the order and holding maybe a emblem in their hands. As you all watch, a woman approaches, and you see a beautiful drow woman, hair pulled back in a triple braid. You see this is Mother Sarcerin. Sarcerin is known, she does a lot of community outreach, you could say, as she walks up. Welcome, travelers. And what brings you to the Church of All Gods?
Dax is going to bow and very quickly. And Mother Sarstrin, hi. We've come to the Church of All Gods for a little bit of respite. We're also looking for the deity Inti.
Oh, wow. As you see, she gives a small smile. All are welcome here. Though, and she looks as you realize Cloudjumper can't make it through the door, as large as the door is for other creatures.
Stay out with Cloudjumper.
Yeah.
Because I don't trust leaving them
You
alone
see,
down here.
Stoic goes, right, no, I know my gods, I'm good. Is not any disrespect. Stoic's like, yeah, I may not be best friends, so Stoic will stay out there as well, give that, like, double set of eyes. You see Mother Sarcer just, of course, come this way. And you see she will lead you all. Again, this isn't a big building, but you see she leads past this kind of, like, main prayer room. Minareth, Dax, and I think Gingy, you can have hopped out of Stoic's beard to, like, ride Minareth's shoulder. Mother Sarstrin is leading you past. You see it's not very, like, well collected, but a lot of different, like, altars and little indents into the wall where, like, idols can be placed. Again, very much like in a Catholic church where, like, saints would be. You see a wide collection of statues of other gods. You guys could immediately spot, like, Odin, and hey, that's Loki. There's a couple that, like, look a little odd, maybe Egyptian, very animal heads. Some that seem a little more like Eastern influence, like draconic or animalistic. Until finally you're seeing a lot of gods that are ringed in, like, circles. Like, you're noticing, like, they seem to have these, like, hemisphere-looking circles outstretching from their hands and around their feet. And each circle seems to be inlaid with runes of different kinds. Mother Sarstrin says, you are allowed to stay as long as you wish, if you are willing to help and serve those in this convent. You ask for more of Inti, and this I can show you. She brings you through. You see one of these statues, palms outreached, is ringed in runes. And you see the runes are easily, like, translated to, like, oh, this is, like, primordial for, like, fire and light and warmth. Like, it's that, like, none of you read primordial, or some of you might, but it's that, like, enough to pick out and be like, okay, these aren't, like, runes to, like, inscribe magic. These are very simple, like, hey, let's mark down what it means. Mother Sorcerin turns. The god Inti is one of Amazonia. We have not had many travelers from there in a while, but the Dryad and Children of Nature worship Inti. Inti is the messenger of their highest god, Viracocha. You see she points, actually. Indeed, you see Viracocha's statue is probably the biggest here, right? Or, like, of these kind of groupings along the wall. Viracocha actually has a tiny little figure on his shoulder that looks somewhat like a bird, but it's that very, like, bird, but almost, like, humanoid proportion, where it's like a bird shouldn't be able to, like, sit with bended knees on someone's shoulder. I see Mother Sarcerin says, this is Viracocha, but you asked for Inti. What interest do you have, child?
Well, long story, I shan't bore you with any of the details, but, he reached out to me and is trapped.
She was about to congratulate you, and you see you kind of stop her where she goes, opens her eyes. Trapped?
She's like, what?
Yes, so it seems that he and a few of the other, kind of glanced around some of the other Amazonian deities, just, seems that he and a few of the others found themselves in a bit of a predicament where they can't escape. And they need help and asked me.
You see she opens and closes her mouth 3 times before finally speaking. Chosen, of gods are not uncommon. The gods pick many that can serve. Those with oaths in glorious name, and clerics, of course, to serve chosen very in a devout sense to gods. Yeah, so if your god has chosen you in a clerical nature, I would never deem to say that a god probably couldn't be trapped or captured, but religiously, perhaps it is something that could help your mind open. It is a chance for you to become experienced as a cleric and a way to understand your god further.
This poor lady.
I don't think he wanted me as a cleric or anything. He's not telling me to preach. I don't even know what he believes. It's just really he's trapped, and apparently I'm one of the people he needs to help him escape. And so I guess, have you ever seen? I'm going to kind of try to describe the singularity.
You do.
Have you ever heard of something, just a black nothingness with a burst of light from the inside just spanning out? It's strange. No?
As indeed, you have really spun this poor woman in a full circle.
I love her.
She's gonna make a check.
Kind of sideways to Minareth. Was I like this?
Yes.
You cut back. It's not like weird, like you see Dax mouth agape like a month and a half ago when like running through the woods. Oh, yeah. Okay, no.
That's like from the other side.
Sometimes life can just get really messy when you're trying to explain a lot. Dax, you see Mother Sarcerin eventually kind of gathers her faculties. Let's start with Inti. Inti is a, he's a god, as you know. Gods bring power from their worshippers. Inti is worshipped through fire and light and through...
I'm sorry, I just made that connection.
You just made the connection?
Oh my god.
You see, Mother Sarcerin says, Inti is a god of light and fire, god of the sun, god of warmth, and specifically of gold. You see she points, it's very, like, grimy from being in the sewers, but yeah, very culture statue, a little golden. You see she goes, Inti was powerful. Many cultures revered him, none so much as, say, the fabled Eldoradans, but the City of Gold is a popular myth, more created. The idea being that a group of Amazonians were blessed by Inti with a abundance of gold, not to serve as wealth, but as a reminder of their devotion. Okay, let's double back to the whole, singularity you're calling it. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is where I need to make another check for her. Okay. Great. You see she goes,
Can she have a auger
I'll
point?
let you use an auger point
Good.
for this interaction. Yeah.
I will mark that off.
Wow. Good use of auger point. I think Minareth, maybe you jump in, because Dax, you're explaining it from a very logistical point of view. It's like, okay, light was coming in at about 3 meters per second, so it was actually obscuring my vision.
How did it make you feel?
And yeah, Minareth gives that very... Okay, we're in a church. Let's talk about faith and feelings. That's probably going to help a little bit more right now. So you see Mother Sarcerin goes, a singularity. And you see she looks... Because again, this isn't private. This is just a small little side hallway out of the main hall. Would you mind coming with me to my office?
Sure. I think that's fine.
She leads you, opens a small blackened door. She kind of closes it behind it, leaves that soft echo. As she turns, she gestures some small wooden seats. She sits behind a desk. I will preface this by saying I am a servant of the divine. I personally believe that each god holds much representation in our world, and to subscribe to just one would be to bring folly to the others. Yes, and it's something where I do not give of myself, but I make it my mission to learn of many gods. There is a difference between a god and an occultant worship. Divine worship is giving of oneself in the belief of becoming better, of gaining deeper religious insight in a certain way. That can be insight of one's bravery, of trickery, of fortune, of gold. It's never one thing, but the worship of a figure in an occult practice is something rather dangerous, because it is freely giving of oneself without knowledge of what one gains in return. And Dax, you realize she's starting to describe
This sounds like a warlock.
like warlocks, right?
Yeah.
Like this odd idea. So she goes, there have been some in recent months that have subscribed to a interesting, what they call religion, but I call cult practice. It is dark magic. There is power in the group known as Black Sun.
We really need to interrogate
I've got that cube.
As the cube, it just burn a hole in your pocket. She goes,
I'm really good
the
at
Black
procrastinating.
Sun, from what I understand, I make it my mission to learn, and so I can never truly judge something to be either religion or cult without further research. And I should say they are very overlapping. Religions and cults are almost a circle on a Venn diagram. They're not unique, except in the key ways of one brings betterment of self with the betterment of others, with spiritual enlightenment, and one is the giving of oneself with very little understanding what one gains. Black Sun has found something that they call the Black Sun, and it is a revival. Many are interested in a chance to go above surface freely. And she looks at you, Dex. It is not always pleasant to be in the sun. In fact, it is...
Oh, no.
Yes, it's
Terrible.
interesting that you would worship NT, of course, but again, the gods choose their clerics as they would. But, the Black Sun, from what I can understand, is a religious fervor surrounding a coming change in nature. Something that would break traditional convention. A change to the world where the world would no longer live under the natural orders of the sun, the moon, and the stars, and for the above and for the Underdark are ways. A change where the world is forever in darkness. I do not believe this, personally, but the Black Sun has powers that are very akin to what you describe. Void that pulls in light and magic and mass. It is gravitational. And I worry if these are related, that perhaps your god is not testing you, but rather warning you perhaps that he is going to be stuck. And again, you realize she has slipped into that, like, she does not really understand the vision, but is trying to, like, interpret a dream for you of, and because this god, again, gods are omniscient, he sees this coming future and how detrimental it could be.
Are all gods omniscient?
Are all gods omniscient? You actually, like, I think on Earth, probably not.
Yeah, because otherwise why would Odin and his power of seer, like, why would that...
Odin's seership probably is unmatched amongst any
But
god.
that's the thing. If all gods were omniscient, then why would him being the seer be unique, distinctive?
Huh, interesting. If you were an Ilmanor, maybe you could start looking that up at the Temple of Odin.
So
But we went there once and never again. No, it's good. You see, though, Mother Sarcerin just... I don't wish to trouble any of you, but I would say I would look into this if I were you. Your god is one of light and harmony and of growth and of gold. This black sun would very much oppose your god. And I think, Dax, you take a moment, and again, you know Inti must have done this of volition of himself. This was not a trick or a trap. And yet, just because the gods entered in of their own accord, it may not remove the idea that this was not a long-term trap. Something that did accomplish another entities or groups of goals. As you all sit here in the Underdark with these strange tidings, the channel, again, only thing keeping you away from Under London, with Fen and some of these words ringing in your ears.
can I message to the group something that...
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk a bit telepathically real quick.
Because I guess what I was saying about Odin isn't actually directly applicable, but she did say the Black Sun is a revival, which suggests that the Black Sun had another rise sometime earlier, okay? Back in the past. Oh, I am onto something.
It is, yeah.
But that would make me wonder if the Incan gods, Inti and the others, the Amazonian gods, I should say, were lured there into thinking that somehow being in the singularity would be safe, would be a good idea, would help them increase their power. I have no idea what could have lured them there. But then, what if the Black Sun cult back then is what trapped them, because something about Inti and the other gods could be it could prevent the Black Sun actually happening again. Horde Prime, as we know, as we assume, is connected with that. What if something about those Amazonian gods could stop that from happening? And that's why they've been trapped here, in that singularity, because they could screw up Armageddon.
I will point out, Valka had this conversation a while back. When Valka was talking with the head of her order, Azrael, Azrael turned to Valka and she was talking about the gods and their different Armageddons.
And how many...
And if you remember right, how Odin leads the full might of Asgard in preparation for Ragnarok. He basically turned to Valka, she being Azrael turned to Valka, is like, yeah, Odin is full on Ragnarok's path. The Egyptian gods, Ra and their whole pantheon, is in full war with Michael. Egypt strikes against the Zephim Church Messianism heaven, right? And the Eastern gods, what we could say of China, of the Great Dragon Spirit and the Jade Emperor, they have more shuttered up because they are dealing with their own religious war against the Vikings, these barbaric troops. It did leave the Amazonian gods rather uniquely unrivaled. that they were not in any... Nothing was really happening to them. Which sounds bad because other parties know there are stuff happening in Amazonia, but nothing of that big of a religion board that the Amazonian gods might
They
fight
didn't have an
against, or at the
antithesis.
time they would
They
have fought
didn't
against.
have an antithesis.
Odin has been prepping for Ragnarok. Ra has always been fighting against heaven, and the Draconic Wars have been going on for some time. They had no antithesis, and yeah, maybe something lured them, or a revival was meant to better trap them. But with all these questions, that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Yeah.
As with these questions in mind, on the morrow, perhaps staying here the night, we make for Under London. Thank you all so very much for playing. Thank you all for listening. And I can't wait to see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Where we will interrogate the cube.